Testing, 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 testing. 1, 2, 3. Testing, testing. 1, 2, 3. Testing, testing. 1, 2, 3. Hello, hello, hello. Can you guys hear? Oh, the music is really loud. The music is really loud. I lowered the music volume just a little bit, just so you guys can hear me a little bit better. Can you guys hear me? Can you guys hear me? Yep, closed captions do still exist, so you guys can still use that, which is very useful. I should probably type that in the chat, because if you need closed captions, you won't actually hear me say that. So, you know what? I should turn this into a. Oh, hang on a second. Hang on a second. Okay. Nathan, I fed you already. Nathan, I fed you already. You have food. You already have food. So you don't need food right now. You don't need food right now. No. No, you don't need food right now. You don't need food right now. Hi. Hi, buddy. Hi, buddy. Let's see here. What am I trying to do? Hi, Nathan. Oh, hi, Nathan. Hi, Nathan. Oh, no, that is why they like sitting on laptops. But they also really just know the things that you access a lot and that you interact with. And when they want your attention, they just basically get in its way. So my cats are really, really good at standing in front of my monitor. Back, when both Jasmine and Nathan were both around. So this space in front of my monitors is always like messy with just like junk and stuff like this here. And this is absolutely intentional, because when they were empty, when I kept them clean, Nathan and Jasmine would just sit right there in front of the monitor because they knew exactly where I was looking. So when they know exactly where you're looking, they just try to get in the way. So that's basically all it is. Like, cats know where you're looking. They know what you're paying attention to, and so they know how to get in the way of that. Oh, yeah. Oh, you like the scratch. Oh, you like the scratch. Oh, you like the scratch. Oh, there you go. There you go. You like the scratches, huh? You like the scratching, don't you? Don't you, kitty? Oh, now you're sitting up. So now I gotta move the camera up here. Hi. Ooh, look at this. Look at this boy. Look at this boy. Look at this boy. Oh, you're blinking at me. Nathan's blinking at me. You blinking at me, Nathan? Oh. Are you blinking at me, Nathan? Because I'm giving you the scratches. The scratches. Yeah, look at that. Look at that. It's basically about SF6 being random. And I really want to talk about that, so. Okay. Excuse me with this. Hi, Nathan. I am aware of what you are trying to do. You want me to pay attention to you a lot. Yeah, I am very aware of that, Guts, which is why whenever Nathan comes here, I am just like, you know what? No problem. Hi. Hi, Nathan. Hi, Nathan. Look at this guy. Oh God, you just want the scratches all day. Here, let's brush you a little bit while I'm here, so that while I pet you, cat hair doesn't fly everywhere because I am allergic to cats, but I take allergy meds every day, so it's not too much of a problem. Oh God, you love that. Oh, you love that so much. But still, less cat hair all over my furniture and stuff is usually a preferred situation. Ooh, look at this chunk. Look at the size of this chunk. Oops. Oh, you're pulling on the cable, Nathan. That's why. You're pulling on the cable. To his mouth, yes. To his cheeks, his gums. His gums. Cats love scratches to their gums. Not sure exactly why, but you know, the dentally, like, cats are not the best, right? I mean, both of my cats had dental issues and stuff like that, and cavity problems. Nathan's already had a couple of teeth taken out. So, you know, it's just one of those things. But I think that also they have a lot of glands on their gums. So, like, just like on the top of their head, they have like glands that basically drop a lot of scent. So that's why when cats are affectionate, they headbutt you, and they also. Oh, did you see him? Did you see him grab it? Did you see him grab it? Oh my God, that is every time he does, it's like the cutest thing. Like he grabbed the brush and was like, "Why are you not brushing anything right now?" See if I can actually do this again. Hi. Hi, Nathan. Ooh, scratchy the gums. Scratchy the gums. But they like to implant their scent on you so that way they know they own you, kind of a thing. Yeah, there you go, Nathan. Silly cat. Silly, silly cat. Silly cat. Yeah? Are you a silly cat, Nathan? Are you a silly cat, Nathan? Oh, you blinked at me because you're trying to be all lovey and you're just like, oh my God, I want more brushies. I want more brushies. Oh, this cat. Oh, this cat. Any case, oh, what's up, Ahsoka? How's it going? How's it going? I did not ever try Tokon on PS5. I really didn't have any reason to, so I just played it on the PC. Because on the last day, I didn't even play it that much, which is why I didn't stream. I was doing some last second testing, but like, I didn't really do too much with it, to be honest. So, okay. So you enjoyed the Tokon beta, Ahsoka? God, this cat. This cat. Look at this guy. You are so. Do you know how badly I spoil you, Nathan? Are you aware of how badly I spoil you? You have questions. Okay. Feel free to ask some of the questions right now. I'd be more than happy to talk about it before I officially get started here. So, what kind of questions did you have about Tokon? Let me know, and I'd be more than happy to help. Obviously, if I'm not mistaken, you have more of a Tekken background. Have you played a lot of 2D fighting games, Ahsoka? Ah, what is a safe jump? Okay. If you want to know what a safe jump is, basically, here, let me... Actually, I might be able to show you what a safe jump is a little bit easier than just raw describing it. So I'm going to bust out Street Fighter 6 for a second here. So give me a little bit. Let me let that start up while I try to add a custom command over here. Let me see here. Let's see. Let's create a caption name. Oh God, I have too many. Oh, I see. I have this. What can I get rid of right now?
Street Fighter 6.
Oh man. What the hell is this? Let's get rid of this, I guess. That's not doing anything over there. These aren't even correct anymore, but I'll take care of that later. So,
I'm not getting through. Now or never. Street Fighter 6
button for Twitch users. Closed captioning is available via the CC button on. Where is that CC button actually? Let's see here. If I go to my own channel here, the CC button is. Oh, it is just CC button down there. Okay, perfect. Okay. Oh, it is. Okay. CC button on the Twitch. What do you call this? Okay, on the Twitch.
Street Fighter 6.
I don't even know what to call it. Like taskbar on the Twitch. Via the CC button on the Twitch. Taskbar. Sure, I'm just gonna call it that. Oh man, I don't even know what to call that. Let's see, where's my timers? Okay, let's see, timers. So I'll make that come up every, what, 15, 20 minutes? Let's do 20 minutes, shall we?
Street Fighter 6.
Closed caption, there we go. All right, let's try that out. Let's do this. Okay, perfect. Okay, all right, so let's see here. This is what a safe jump is. Let's actually get out. Let's explain to you what a safe jump is. Where is my thing over here? This is what I'm trying. Does this work? Does this actually work? Doesn't actually work right now.
James.
I know.
Switch the
I
cameras.
am aware of this. I'm trying to see if I can make something work right now. Oh, I see. Let's see. One action. Source display. What is the title display? All right, that is supposed to be there. Scene Tuesday show or scenes Tuesday show is correct. Source display is correct. So now will it work if I press this button here? Why do you not work? Why is it that you do not work? Why can't I make this work? Oh, well, whatever. Okay, let's do this here. Okay, display. Nathan just muted my microphone. Like, he literally just dropped his head and muted my microphone. God, I swear to God, I need to, like, tape something over that just to make sure that he doesn't do that when I'm not looking. Hi, Nathan. Hi, Nathan. Oh, you're gonna mute my microphone again, aren't you? So, what we want to show you here, let's just use Ken. Because Ken is a, he's a character that you expect to have a fast DP and such. Now, one of the things to note, and also the game is really freaking loud. Hang on a second, give me a second here. Let me drop the volume of the game a little bit. So, also there is no music because I was trying to record something for a second there. Ken alpha music. Okay, so if you're using Ken, you'll notice something that if I do a DP, it has 5 frames of startup, right, Ahsoka? You see that, at the bottom of the screen, it says 5 frames startup, etc., etc. In other words, it can't hit for 5 frames. Same thing if I do an OD DP, but the startup is 6 frames, right? So DPs take 6 frames to start up. Well, if I can calculate it just right, like you see an empty jump is 43 frames, okay? I'm just gonna tell you right now, I don't have to explain, I'm not going to explain exactly why, but being plus 42 on a knockdown gives me the ability to perform a safe jump, okay? For a lot of characters, because most characters' jumps are about 43 frames, okay? Some characters have slightly longer jumps and such. But if you notice something, if I jump and do nothing, it's 43 frames. But if I jump and attack, like so, it's really hard to tell, but if I attack as late as possible, like this, right? You'll always see that what happens is that, I have the same 43 frames of a jump, which is, oh, cat disappeared. I have the same 43 frames of a jump. You'll see 39, 40, 41, 42, 43. That's the startup of my normal. However, because I do a move in the air, I get 3 frames of recovery when I land. So in other words, if I empty jump, so let's say Ken jumps and does a move in the air, right? So I'm gonna record Ken doing this, right? Oops, I'm gonna make Ken jump, kick, and hold down back and block. All right, so I'm gonna make Ken do that, but if you see, if he whiffs, I get a punish counter if I hit him when he lands. Because when he whiffs a button, he adds those 3 extra frames of recovery when he lands, right? Now, if I record Ken to do the same thing, except just neutral jump and hold down back, like I can't hit him, you see? Because he doesn't empty jump, so that means nothing, I can't punish him. He has no recovery frames. As we see from the frame meter right here, he lands with 43 and there's these 2 extra frames they throw on there. That just means they can't do some stuff, but they can block. All right, so this is the idea of having recovery frames when you land. Now, the interesting thing about this is with 3 recovery frames when you land, and then, like I said, if I do an EXDP, it's 6 frames of startup. There are ways to make it so that I can jump attack Ken, and I can hit him if he does nothing, but if he does a DP, I can land and block. So I know for Kimberly, if I do this right here, And I have to extend my run a little bit, so I mean, if you want to learn to do it with Kimberly, actually, you know what? Let's do it with what's her face, Marisa, because I don't have to do that. Marisa's a much easier example here. All right, so with Marisa here, for example, if I do something like this, whoops, oops. Actually, no, it's easier if I just do it this way. Oops. I have to remember my Marisa combos now. So if I do this, I'm plus 42, like I said. So most characters, like I said, their jump is 43 frames. Now watch this. If I do this combo here, and I do a jump attack, I hit him. I hit him, right? Because if you actually look at my frame data here, 30 plus 9 is 39, 40, 41, 42, 43. I'm literally hitting him on the last frame of my jump. You can see their grounded timing ends here, and I hit him with the first frame when they get up, right here. Now what's interesting is I have my 3 frames of delay here. So I'm hitting with this jump attack and I land and I have 3 frames of delay. I think you can kind of see where I'm going here because EXDPs have 6 frames of startup, right? So let's do this again. I jump attack and hold down back. Let's see what happens if I actually make Ken wake up with an OD Shoryuken, right? So if I hit Ken with this and he wakes up with an OD Shoryuken, let's see what happens. I blocked it. Because if you look at it, it's the exact same thing we saw. 28 plus 9 plus 6 right here. I'm hitting on the 43rd frame and have 3 frames of recovery. However, Ken does an EXDP. He's invincible. I can't hit him with anything. So this whiffs, and then I have my 3 recovery frames. But guess what? That means I land for only 3 frames, and there's only 1 frame here in the air. So I was vulnerable for 4 frames, but ODDP takes 6 frames to start up. In other words, the startup is too fast. I mean, it's not fast enough to actually hit me in those 3 recovery frames. So what happens now is that I can jump at him with a button without ever fearing they can hit me. Now, plus 41 allows you to avoid ODDPs because they're 6 frame startup, but they don't avoid 5 frame DPs, right? So the reason why 5 frame DPs are significant is because they're air invul on frame 1. So Ken's light DP is invincible to the air attacks on frame 1. Oops. But oops, he did the OD still? But I still block it, right? And the reason why I still block it is because 5 frames is still not fast enough to hit me because I only have 4 frames, right? The 1 frame in the air, the 3 frames when I'm landing. So you have to hit me with one of these 4 frames right here. So in other words, I can still block the light DPs in time. If I'm plus 41 and I go for a safe jump, that lets me block ODDPs, but it doesn't let me block light DPs because of that difference. So plus 42 is a specific number for characters with 43 frames of a jump to get a safe jump timing here. That means there is no way for Ken to actually hit me with a DP And frankly, with any super either, because no super hits faster than like 6 frames. I think the fastest super might be like 5 or something like that, but I can still safe jump those. So if you know your character well enough and you know you have a safe jump set up, like let's actually put Ken on OD Shoryuken again, like this. And then let's also make it so that Ken can do nothing, right? So if I do this, Ken does nothing, right? So I'm gonna set it to both here, and now I can do this. Jump while holding down back, and then I can continue a combo if I get the hit, or I can block this and murder Ken, basically. This is what a safe jump is. This is what a safe jump is. And again, in a lot of games, like certain knockdowns will give you situations. Yeah. So you're looking for those kind of knockdowns. But again, in this game, you know, like I said, there's 3 frames of recovery if I do a button in the air and I land. There's 3 frames of recovery, and the ODDPs are 6 frame startup. What the frame, and my jump is 43 frames. So for another game like Marvel Tokon, you're gonna need something completely different based off of what the fastest invincible DP move is, based off of how much recovery I have on landing, based off of how long it takes for me to jump. So, you know, you have to know the unique things for the game. Safe jumps are extremely powerful, and in fact, in older games, it's basically infallible. You just have to hold the jump attack and deal with it. In Street Fighter 6, the only thing you can do is perfect parry it. There we go, perfect parry, right? So if I do this, whoops. Right, you can perfect parry it, but now if you look at this situation here, when it gets perfect parried, Ken can move, but I get perfect parried on this frame over here, I land, but I still only have those 3 frames of recovery. I'm only -2. So what happens now is that after you perfect parry it, you can't punish me. However, you can get me in a mix-up here. So now I am in a mix-up here. Normally, when you perfect parry a jump like that, people will try to throw you. But the problem is, if I neutral jump, I get away from the throw. This is why when you see at high level, when people get a safe jump perfect parried like this, the opponent sometimes jumps themselves because they're trying to air throw you out of your jump to avoid it. But basically, if you perfect parry a safe jump, it creates a mix-up for the person who's getting perfect parry. Now, for other games that don't have perfect parries like this, yeah, the answer is absolutely you hold that. Like if in most fighting games, if you know the opponent has a safe jump, there's nothing you can do about it. You have to hold the jump block and try to survive afterwards, which is exactly why safe jumps are so powerful, right? They're just something that you have to deal with. Now, in a lot of other fighting games, there's a lot in terms of like in Super Turbo, you know, a lot of it has to be done by eye. Like you knock them down, and right when the character goes bounce, bounce, like on the second bounce, you jump. And for some characters, that just sets up the perfect safe jump and stuff. And you can be wrong, and you can be right, etc., etc. But if the opponent shows that they're consistent enough to get it, so like for example in Alpha 3, if Honda knocked you down with crouching heavy punch and just held up forward, he got an automatic safe jump. That was back before I knew what the term safe jump really meant, but I used that a lot in Alpha 3 when I played Honda. which you shouldn't do because Honda's not very good.
I don't have time to play.
But I was always a low tier hero anyway, so I would play that. But yeah, safe jumps are extremely powerful, but like in Street Fighter 4, it was really hard to set them up because there was no input buffer. So in these games here, it's really easy to set them up because, you know, of frame kills and stuff, but also because I think the devs actually set it up that way. I think the devs actually have purposely made a lot of characters to have plus 42 knockdowns specifically for the safe jump. So Kimberly used to be able to have an automatic one here. This used to be an automatic safe jump. They changed the run so that now it's plus 43, which means if you get up and do nothing, I don't hit you. So if for example, yeah, so I'll just show you here. I can't hit you because I land. I land before I can hit you. Plus 43 is 2 plus for a safe jump. However, Kim can course correct this a little bit because if you run with Kimberly, when you run up to someone, you automatically go into that step kick. But if you hold forward on the controller, she just keeps running until the run runs out, right? And so you can hold the controller. So what you're seeing here is that the height that Ken gets juggled, if you let it go automatic is like a tiny bit too high. If you can hold the run for about 2 to 5 frames, I think is the window, then Ken's lower, and that sets up the 42 frame safe jump right there. So I have a 42 frame safe jump. So I was about to show you with Kimberly, but it was just more complicated than Marisa. So I was like, you know what, let's just do Marisa and make it a little easier here.
What are you waiting for?
And yeah, you can't do anything about it except block. And to be fair, in a lot of older games like Super Turbo, if someone was gonna jump and cross you up, it was also the same situation. There was pretty much nothing you could do. Like, they would knock you down, be plus like 80, and then they could still get over you and do a cross up like that, right? And so, there's really not much you could do about that either, right? So that's the point of Oki, is that Oki, you're supposed to be really strong. Like, for example here, against M. Bison, M. Bison doesn't have an ODDP, right? He doesn't have an ODDP, but he has a level 1 super. So in other words, I can do wake up, instead of this, let's do the level 1 super here, right? I'm gonna turn it off for now because after a forward throw, Kimberly can do drive rush crouching medium kick. She's plus 5 in this situation. He can't wake up with a button or anything. And if it hits, I get a stand heavy punch, and I get to do all sorts of fun combos at this point. However, if Bison decides to do a wake up level 1, you know, I die, obviously, right? That's the way it works. Now, here's the funny thing is that Kimberly, if she does drive rush into crouching light kick like this, it just so happens that it hits meaty. So she's plus 10 afterwards, right? So I can do, you know, I can still do the standing heavy punch afterwards. God, I'm not doing it fast enough. It's just so much faster. Hello? It's so fast. Alright, I'm mashing. I don't care. Right? So there you go. That's a combo right there. The problem is that M. Bison's level 1 super has a startup of 10 frames. And he doesn't have a faster invincible move. His level 2 has a startup of 24 frames. And his level 3 has a startup. Whoops. Oh, I didn't give him his meter back. That's why. His level 3 has a startup of also 10 frames, right? So Kimberly's crouching light kick is so short. Oops, I didn't give him his meter back again. That I can do a safe drive rush crouch light kick on Bison in the exact same way you can do a safe jump. And this will not work against ODDPs. A lot of characters have supers that are faster than 10 frames. Those things will hit Kimberly. But if you only have, for example, a 10 frame startup invincible, I get a free drive rush light kick against M. Bison that he can't do anything about. So again, there are a lot of situations in Street Fighter and fighting games like this that kind of force you know, people to just have to sit back and be like, crap, I have to take this block. Safe jump being just the most prominent one. And basically that's what a safe jump is. In Guilty Gear Strive, for example, it's very, very common that when you do a wall... What the hell was that? When you do a wall break... it sets up a perfect safe jump for a lot of characters if you do instant air dash button. I don't remember if the wall transitions in Tokon do that, but I'm sure there are some things in Tokon that when you knock them down, if you do like instant air dash into button, you get a safe jump on the enemy. And so, yeah, in those situations, you kind of have to hold it. Now, in Tokon, I'm not sure. Again, we don't know. I don't know enough about frame data. Could you wake up and do a down assist and then start blocking afterwards? Potentially, yeah. And what happens is that the down assist, if you have one that's an actual DP, it's not like Doom Beam or Black Panthers throw the spear up to the top. If you have an actual, oops, that's the wrong camera there. If you have an actual DP assist, one that goes up like Captain America, it'll have some startup and it won't be able to necessarily punish the safe jump. But what happens is you get up and block. You block the jump attack. Captain America comes out, and if the opponent doesn't react to the fact that Captain America jumps out and keeps attacking you, then the assist will hit him. But that depends on if it's fast enough, because it's only invul to airframes. So if Captain America makes you block that, lands and jabs, and can jab the actual assist before the assist hits you, then maybe not. So again, I don't know. I don't know what the answer to that is. There we go. That's the right height. Also, Marvel versus Marvel Tokon. I was about to call it Marvel versus Tokon. I'm gonna do that a lot, I think. Marvel Tokon doesn't have push block, Forrest. There is no push block. You have to hold that. In Marvel Tokon, you have to hold that. Now, Marvel Tokon does have wake-up armor attacks, and it does have wake-up dodge attacks, the assemble smash and the assemble counter, which I really, really, really want to abbreviate to ass smash and ass counter, but obviously I can't. But it would be hilarious if we could call it that, the ass smash and the ass counter. It's not our fault, dude. Like, they did it to themselves. But yeah, the A smash or the A counters can trigger, I think, on frame 1. So I think that they can get through. Follow, because when Spider-Man or Ghost Rider is doing this long block string with a mix-up in it, and assist, how do I beat block pressure like that? So, couple rules that you have to know. You only have to block high-low against the point character. If I'm not mistaken, they changed it so that if you tag from the point to the assist, anything the assist does is now a mid attack. So, like, let's say that there's a move that's like pow pow and then into overhead, if you go pow and then they tag, the overhead is now no longer an overhead, it's a mid. So you don't ever have to worry about the assist. You just have to worry about the leader, aka the point character. In the move list, they call it the leader in Tokon. And I really like that word, the leader, so I'm gonna use that word a lot. But you have to, and again, this is the kind of game you are playing with Tekken. Not Tekken, Tokon. Jesus, okay. This is the kind of game that you are playing with Tokon. You have to kind of just hold that, like you have to be able to block it well. You have to be able to block because tag fighters in general are like this. And to be fair, Tokon's mix is so benign compared to a game like 2XKO and like Marvel vs. Capcom. Like Marvel vs. Capcom, like if you're fighting Dante Virgil and you block Dante's jump attack and he does box jump to the other side overhead while calling Wesker's assist that shoots you low and hits you with a high-low at the same time, you're fucked. That's it. You get hit. And so the question is, well, what should I do? Well, the answer is you're not supposed to be there. You're not supposed to block. And so that's kind of what happens when you're playing a game like Marvel Tokon. It's more about movement. It's more about I'm trying to get the hell out of here, right? Think about it as you're trying to Korean backdash everything. And you do it by jumping and double jumping and getting the hell away. Now, keep in mind, you do have alpha counters in this game. You have the ability to alpha counter. However, the opponent can counter your alpha counter, and that is when bad things start happening for your team. So it is scary, but keep in mind that that is an option. That is an option. But, like I said, there's also the ass smash. Oh, God. It's going to be so hard. I mean, you're going to finally see how juvenile I actually am. Because it's going to be so hard for me not to call it that. But the A smash does have armor. So you can kind of mash L plus A to do the A smash in the middle of block strings, and wherever there's a gap, you'll armor through it and try to hit them. Or if you hold straight down and do the A counter, you'll just dodge the attack and try to hit them back. And the reason why putting it to neutral and holding straight down is important is because if the enemy has left-right mix-ups and there's a gap, needing to hold forward or back won't mess you up and make you do the wrong one, but both of them might work pretty decently. So, yeah, and sometimes if you have the wall at your back, like Forrest is saying in Tekken, you just have to defend. And that's where I usually die in Tekken because I don't know what any character is doing. So they just start going boom, ba-doo, boom, ba-doo, boom. And especially when it's something like Hwarong, which I don't know where the stance cancels are, etc., etc. So I just kind of look at it and go with a teardrop and I just get killed, right? Because I don't know where to expect the lows and where to expect the mids and stuff like that. And so, yeah, if your back is against the wall and you don't have enough time to try to sidestep the F out of there, you just kind of have to hold that. And in Tekken, and that's exactly kind of the same thing with safe jumps. You just kind of have to hold it, and you have to rely on your own defense. But again, the way that you have to think about it, because obviously that sounds like, wait, that sounds messed up. Like, how can people enjoy this? It's because the idea is that you shouldn't have been there in the first place. The point of the game having so much movement is that if you've blocked something, like, you know, like in Street Fighter, right? Street Fighter is, I got a knockdown, now you got to deal with my Oki, right? In Tekken, it's like, I hit you with down one, down forward one. I hit you with down forward one. I'm plus. My reward is the mix-up, right? Because I hit you with down forward one, I'm plus. Now you have to deal with me, right? That's the whole thing about Tekken. I've often said you don't hit confirm combos, you hit confirm offense, right? Down forward one gets blocked, you got to block. Down forward one hits, you get the next mix-up, right? Well, in a game like Marvel Tokon, and especially in Marvel vs. Capcom and Invincible Versus and 2XKO and MVCI and Dragon Ball Fighters and stuff, that getting hit by down one is blocking an attack that lets your opponent get in on you, right? So if you're blocking so that the opponent can set up a super sick mix-up on you, you made a mistake already up to that point. You should not have been blocking in the first place, because as soon as you blocked, that was it, right? So a lot of these Marvel games and stuff like that, the idea is that you have to be squirrely enough and cagey enough and good enough with your movement that you can try to avoid having to block the opponent's attack. Now, I'm saying a lot of this from a Marvel versus Capcom viewpoint. Tokon is not, like I said, not anywhere nearly as brutal as Marvel vs. Capcom games. For now, it might get pretty bad soon once we actually have more time with it. But that's the general idea, is that you need to, your defense is not blocking, your defense is movement. Movement is your defense. Yeah, I believe it will too, Original Gamer. I really do believe it's going to get there. So your first line of defense is movement. And then when you block, like if you get hit by a down forward one in like Tekken, you're not sweating the damage, right? You're just like, pow, oh crap. But that just tells you whose turn it is. Like who gets to do the mix up. If it's blocked, like if you block it, it's your turn. You get to do the mix up on the opponent. But if you hit them, if you get hit by the down forward one, you got to hold the next mix up. The nice thing about Marvel games like this is that, you know, if you block an attack, one, you're not guaranteed as the other guy to be able to exact a mix up on you, right? They may be in the wrong position, or they haven't quite, like they're in the middle of a move that's recovering and they're only calling an assist just to keep themselves safe kind of thing, right? As opposed to this sets up my mix up. But, you know, at least when you block something, you have some option. Like you can escape. You can kind of escape. And a lot of the escape is trying to find a gap so you can jump backwards too. Because if you jump backwards, you are now in the air. This is why this is called chicken blocking. But if you can hold up back and get into the air and block, you do not have to deal with high-low anymore. So a lot of the times, too, the reason why you use movement a lot, jump, double jump, whatever, jump, air dash, whatever, blah, blah. Now, air dash, you have to be careful because you are vulnerable during an air dash. But if you jump around a lot, if someone does make you block and you're stuck in the air, you can't get higher load anymore. And that's a crucial thing, right? However, from what I noted in Marvel Tokon, when you block stuff in the air, you fell really fast. So in Marvel vs. Capcom games, it was really important because I could go like jab, 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 and I just stay at the same level. Marvel Tokon, I remember when I went jab, jab, the guy's on the ground. So like, you know, blocking in the air and getting put into the ground might be just as bad. I'm not 100% sure. But again, you know, these are all things we're going to find out. And secondly, Marvel vs. Tokon's mixes are not nearly as crazy for now as Marvel vs. Capcom. So Tokon is definitely more defendable, but it is very hard. And again, like I tell people when they play Street Fighter 6 and ask me, what do I do when the enemy gets me in the corner? My response is, you die. Well, once you start blocking this crazy mix-up chain with assists and stuff in the corner, and you ask me, what am I supposed to do? My answer is going to be, once again, you die. Right? And I never mean that these are situations that you can't escape. You can escape with the skin of your teeth, or just having the most amazing blocking, or you just found the gap to get the ass smash out. Oh God, I'm so juvenile. But like, you'll find a way. But if you do, that should be considered, yes, that's a win. That's a win, right? Like you did something good because you got out of there. But for all intents and purposes, you have a low chance of surviving that. Especially if they call like 900 assists and you can't even see, right? Like that's like one of the most powerful mix-ups is if they have a whole team and they make you block and they go assist, 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 and there's 3 assists on top of you, you can't even see your character. You can't even see their character anymore. And you're just like, uh-oh. But keep in mind, if they call all their assists, then you can do the alpha counter, and they can't counter your alpha counter because they don't have any teammates left, right? So they're probably going to want to do 2 assists, mix you up, and if you do an alpha counter, they can counter your alpha counter. Again, I'm just speaking out of my ass on this part here because I don't know exactly how it works. I haven't tested the alpha counters. Like, do you need all 3 teammates? Only 2 teammates? Does it work if you just have 1 teammate? Does it work if you've called all 3 assists? I don't know yet. I just didn't have enough chance to test these things out. That's kind of the general nature. And, if the game designers are good, they'll design it in a way that it's kind of self-balanced, et cetera, et cetera. So that's the idea. That's the idea. So, hey, look, man, like, it's funny because we could obviously make the joke about Penny Parker, but, like, the fact is that the very first Spider-Man movie already did it, right? Because Flash kept calling Peter Parker Penis Parker, right? I thought that was like really smart of them to do that because I feel like they kind of took that away from people because they already talked about, like they already make that joke. That's why I think all the characters and gameplay are homogenized. This tag style will do the heavy mixing for mix. Yeah, honestly, like, the characters are different enough. And so what a lot of people are talking about with the homogenization in this game is largely in reference to, like, a lot of the combo system and stuff like that. There are some creative combos, but unfortunately, some simple combos tend to just be, like, the best, most damaging combo, unfortunately. But what you want, I mean, like, you look at a game like Marvel vs. Capcom 3, right? Because Marvel vs. Capcom 3, like, if you're fighting against a Virgil, or you're fighting against a Hulk, or you're fighting against Zero, like, these teams are designed that if they hit you, your character dies. Like, that's it. Like, they kill your character. Like, there's literally, you can't survive, and there's no burst or anything like that. Thank you for the follow, JoJo's Bizarre Adventure 1988. But yeah, like, Zero hits you, you die, and then you have to block an incoming mix-up, which is basically unseeable, and if you get hit, that character dies, and then, likely, the Zero is now an X factor, so when your third character comes in, you block that, and that character dies, right? Like, that is a very common gameplay scenario in Marvel vs. Capcom 3. And so it's just like, well, what's the point then? Why do people love this game? How is this game beloved when it's so degenerate like this, right? Well, the simple answer is this, is that the interest from the game comes from its neutral. Because the neutral is played in the whole playing field, like, Doom is shooting lasers here, Wesker's shooting gunshots, and I'm doing this, and we're shooting, and we're trying to, and a lot of stray hits will occur, but you can't actually convert that into a combo, right? Which is why sometimes you'll see stray hits occur, and then the guy somehow, like, improvises a combo and turns it into a full-on combo. That's why commentators will go, oh, what? Out? Like, what? That was insane, right? But, like, the interesting part of the game is really the neutral. And so for Marvel Tokon, that's where a lot of the gameplay is going to get really deep, right? Is that the neutral the characters are all, they have a lot of good variety. Like, people are saying they're homogenized. No, the assists are homogenized, right? Intentionally so. The assists are designed to be homogenized, right? But the neutral is going to be very different for every character. And that's where the enjoyment factor of the game is going to really come into play, is how do we open the opponent up, or how is it that we get them to block an attack in a situation where now I am able to set up a mix-up. When you watch UMVC 3, it's the exact same way. Zero is uninteresting because when he hits you, you die. But the thing about it is, if you hit Zero, probably he'll die too, because he has a little bit lower health. So that neutral game of you calling assists and dancing and trying to find that hit and zoning and going like, well, Zero likes to attack from these angles, so I'm covering these angles. I can leave this angle vulnerable because Zero doesn't have a good way to dive on my head, so I'm going to attack this way. And, oh, I know if he comes here, he's going to try to dash, or I'm going to dash under him and he goes this way. And, like, that dance is what makes Marvel so fun. Marvel versus Capcom so fun. And it seems like that Tokon has a lot of that potential there as well, because some of these characters have some crazy ass movement. And then there's characters like Green Goblin. I mean, that Green Goblin is insane, dude. It's crazy. Yep, the attack vectors, original gamer remembers. I have a whole lesson on attack vectors in the past. I should do a attack vectors redux, honestly. I really should do that. But that's where a lot of the enjoyment. Dude, Green Goblin's not only in the game, he's insane. He fights with his glider. Like, his unique ability is that he just summons his glider and jumps on it. And he gets to do all sorts of crazy things, and he could jump off the glider while the glider is like, the glider has one attack that just shoots a bunch of shots, and like he could jump on it and jump off it, and he can just like use it as a fireball. Dude, it's crazy. Green Goblin is actually, in my opinion, one of the most interesting characters in the game. I really can't wait to see people get really, really good at Green Goblin. That's gonna be insane. But yeah, that's basically how you want to approach Marvel Tokon. Dude, I tweeted that, JNV. I was like, I think it's funny because Green Goblin is literally just Rico's Dark Force turned into a full character, you know? Oh, man. Because, yeah, like, he on the glider, like, he's floating, he can attack you, and then if he attacks, it's a high because he counts as being airborne, but he has a low follow-up on the glider as well, so he has, like, this high-low mix-up if you block it, right? And it's just, oh, God, he's so fascinating. But, yeah, again, that's where the enjoyment factor is going to come from the game. It's going to be that neutral. Once characters hit, we really do have to look at the game and figure out a way to, because there was a tweet that I literally just saw, and I agree with this. Yeah, here we go. So this guy, Samson FGC, posted this tweet basically saying, I think beyond all of the little system problems that come together as a general larger problem with the game, my biggest disappointment is how much damage routes like this do. Like, this probably isn't optimal, but being optimal probably isn't worth it over this, right? And if we go to the game screen over here, like so, this is a combo that he does right here. And so what this is he gets him with a command throw, and the command throw puts him against the wall. Now, from here, this is a wall splat. So on some stages, the wall will break, and he will transition to the next stage, but this particular stage, we're at the edge already, so it's a wall splat, so you get extended combos. And so basically, he does this combo. It's corner only, but corner is not hard to get in any of these kind of games. Like, you're getting to the corner pretty easily. So this is attack, okay, attack. So what's happening here, what the combo that he's doing here is, okay, he splats him against the wall, sets up his space laser, hits him, does EX electricity, electricity. The laser hits him. EX electricity, electricity. Call the assist, which causes a tumble knockdown. EX assist, EX electricity, regular electricity. Call the other assist. Hits, tumble knockdown. EX electricity, regular electricity. Calls the third assist. Hits him, tumble knockdown. EX electricity. And then a little bit of an extension. Electricity into super. And this combo does 81,000 damage out of, basically 80,000 damage out of 100,000 health, right? And the problem with that is that, it is an extremely, extremely simple combo. Like, you can do super fancy stuff, but most of the time, the fancy stuff is probably not going to have any real benefits. It's probably not going to do more damage. It's probably not going to be more, efficient. And it's certainly going to be harder to do than, what that was, right? That's just like repeating the same move 1,000 times, just linking them together with the assist calls, right? And so that is a concern, right? We would like to see it so that, combo variety rewards you a little bit more. I do feel like they need some sort of staling system in the game, which is like some of the old ones, like MVCI, I think had a little bit of the staling system, which is basically the more you use a move, the less damage it does in a combo. So it just like the more often you use a move, this game has no hit stun deterioration. This game has no hit stun deterioration. It has a combo limiter. So it has a combo counter. So if you look on the side here, this blue bar right here under 3 hits, that's the combo counter. When it fills up, it basically ends the combo. The next hit guarantee ends the combo. However, the problem is this is just one move here, pal. You see it like one EXs don't build the meter, and assists actually lower the gauge a little bit. So they're trying to encourage you to use assists to make longer combos. So pal, like right here, it's building up there. It's about like 60% full here, but then like, okay, look at that. It actually filled up all the way to the line, which is the warning, but as soon as he called the assist, it dropped a chunk out of there. And so he builds it up again, but he calls another assist, and so it dropped the chunk. And now it's filling up here, and now it's almost full here. It says combo timeout, and it's basically like the next hit ends the combo. But that's why he just goes straight into the super, because the last hit then is the super. So that's how that works. So it's more like a killer instinct kind of system. But they wanted to promote combo variety by making it so that assists actually lower the gauge a little bit, so you're encouraged to use assists. However, the standard default neutral assist is actually kind of like really good for just such a universal combo tool that a lot of the times it's just not even really worth it to try to find something crazy, right? So I know, JNV, I haven't officially started yet. So right, that's the thing. So now you have to get your assists, right? That's the main thing. But, I don't think getting your assists is going to be particularly difficult once we start getting better at this game. Some assists have invul startup. No, as far as I know, no assist has invul startup. It's just the anti-air assist, the down assist. If you have a particular DP-like move, it actually will have air invulnerability. So you can use it against jump-ins, but if you use it on against a grounded opponent, they're going to get punched in the face, right? So I don't think that this is going to be a game where there's any sort of Captain Commando, Psylocke, Cyclops, Cammy kind of assists. you still have to call them correctly. Like I said, the only thing is that the anti-air assist, again, only if it's a DP, because Black Panther, her anti-air assist, she throws the spear up diagonally. Doctor Doom's anti-air assist is he shoots the beam up diagonally. Those still get murdered by jump-in attacks. But characters like Captain America that just have an uppercut, they will go through anything that's airborne. But yeah, so that's an issue right now, is that the uninteresting combos might just be the best ones, unfortunately. All things equal, first one to get another assist should have better chance to get even another, access to more neutral tools and stuff like that. Yeah, I mean, again, like, there's lots of ways to do it, and even after you lose a round, you automatically gain a teammate. So by the last round, you have your whole team no matter what, which probably means the last round, if you get to like the fifth round, it's going to be a lot like KOF or even Street Fighter 6 in that next touch dies kind of a thing. But, you know, we'll see. Again, it's really hard to say because there's so much more to explore. And again, this is still a beta. Yeah, I know it's only like a week away before this game launches, but still, like, we don't know what changes they're going to be between the beta and the current game. I mean, I was writing mini FAQs on Twitter, and I'm really tempted to write a full FAQ for this again. I've tried to do full FAQs for games through via video, but Jesus Christ, like, I can never do it. I can't do it. Like, I try to record the video, and it just takes a long time and stuff, whereas, like, I can just write my thoughts down. What I should do, honestly, is write the FAQ and then just make the video by reading my FAQ. But, you know, we'll see what happens. What's my funny slang? Outside of the notation, the combo notations. The combo notations are my main funny slang. Tokon is really accessible. Even you can play it. We promise. And then go and make a really convoluted system with 8-button layout and a ton of macros. Yeah, the button config is a little bit crazy there. I do actually think that this game is kind of good for beginners because of the fact that you never have to change away from your point character, from your leader. You never have to change if you don't want to. And so you don't have the burden of trying to learn 4 characters. The other thing too is that building your team being kind of like this sub goal is really cool, because what that does is it makes players want to put the opponent into the corner so that they can land something like a throw or the 214L special or whatever, so that they can get extra teammates. So they kind of built in this little mini goal of getting your opponents into the corner so you can get a teammate and stuff like that. Like, I need to get them into the corner, and then I can land LLLLL, and then I can get a teammate. And I think that's really nice. Like, I think that's smart design, and that's kind of something that I want to talk about in the actual conversation. So I'll talk about that in a little bit more. I mean, my GameFAQs account login's a great question, actually. I would probably have to do a forget password kind of thing just to try to get back to where because I don't know what the password is at this point. I mean, I have a password system. If I can remember what I did with that account, I don't know. We'll see. But I definitely still have an account because all my FAQs are still up there with my name listed. So, but yeah, whatever company owns Fandom also owns GameFAQs now. It's the Fandom company, and I don't know who owns that one. So, what is this? What's going on over here? Ooh, okay, that's cool. Anyways, so yeah, we'll see what happens with this game. It is definitely a hard game. It's very, very complicated, especially with all the systems. And I really honestly think that they don't have to do much to make it a lot easier. But the way they have it set up, like they've unintentionally made it more difficult, but I get it because it's a lot of it has to do with the button layout, right? Like the button layouts that they're kind of forcing you into, and the fact that it's kind of pad focused makes it a little messy. Like I'm gonna sit down and try to develop my own button config and maybe try to help them out with that, you know, like give them a suggestion on the feedback on the survey. So we'll see. The button layout kicked my ass. The button layout kicked my lily livered ass, dude. Like I could not do a goddamn thing in this game because of that button layout. So like doesn't Microsoft have a what is it? Whatever. I'll just use Courier because that always works. Anyways, 8 buttons is not enough anymore. Oh, it's crazy. Anyways, let's it's like the popcorn motorcycle or something like that. Jesus Christ. Let's actually talk about this officially here, shall we? Hello, everybody. Welcome to It Was Tuesday with your host, James Chen, aka Jay Chenzor. The Marvel Tokon beta was this past weekend, and I spent, a few good days. I didn't even really have a chance to play against anybody because I was just trying to figure out the systems as much as I could, and I also was just labbing characters to figure out who I wanted to play. But so far, I really like what I saw in the beta right now. There's a lot of things that I feel like this game is actually doing right. And, it's obviously a very complicated game. There's a ton of system mechanics. The button config is a nightmare, and we'll get into that in just a little bit. And clearly there were issues with the PC version and stuff. I mean, it took me like almost an hour on stream just to get the game running on my first day that I was trying to stream it. Like, I'm not like, obviously we address these issues because they need to be fixed, right? These things need to, I mean, the game crashed on me one time and practically froze my PC. I couldn't even like get out of the situation that was in. Obviously these are things that need to be fixed, but for the most part, like those are like, yeah, you better fix that. Or like the netcode was obviously not great either. There was a lot of slowdown. I had to lower the graphic settings, otherwise the game was just chugging. All these are technical issues, and these are like, yeah, you'd better fix this or your game is going to die really fast, right? So I don't think there's really a specific point to mention them right now. Yes, I am on the side of everyone saying, you better fix your shit, otherwise you're dead in the water, right? You're going to be dead on arrival kind of thing. So, like, we want it to be fixed. They even tweeted out just today. They were like, hey, we heard you. We saw that all of the PC issues, we're trying to get to the bottom of that. We're going to try to make sure that the product that you get on release day is good, you know, et cetera, et cetera. So they're listening, hopefully, and hopefully those things will get fixed. But, you know, in terms of like the actual gameplay, this is where things are starting to get interesting, because I do see a lot of like praise for this game. I've seen a lot of people just being like, I haven't had this much fun in a fighting game in a long time, et cetera, et cetera. But I have seen some people say that they just felt like the game was not that fun. They said like, oh my God, the game's not fun. Like, it feels slow. There's the mix is like, there's no mix in this game. The combos aren't fun or exciting, et cetera, et cetera. And, you know, I get it. I get where a lot of the things are coming from, but I wrote a big, long post about this where I tried to address this. And why is this thing not working? Hang on, give me 1 second. Let's see here. USB cable, USB cable, USB cable. It is plugged into here. Okay, let's plug it back in. It's over here. Is it the power cable? No, I just saw it with power. There it is. The power's on now. Okay, let's do this, shall we? Okay. Let's do this, shall we? Let's do this and go paste. Bam. Oh, wow. What did it do? Oh, interesting. Okay. And then if I come back over here and I go to here like this, does this work? Ooh, it does work. Okay, sick. Yeah, okay. Let's also address that too. It looks amazing, right? Like, the game looks amazing. I don't understand how some of this is actually like 3D graphics. Like, when you see Ghost Rider's penance stare thing, like, you're just like, what? Like, how did you even do? So, like, ArcSys has clearly just become a master of their craft. They can pull off crazy things with this animation engine that they have, and it's just like, it's so crazy. But I think that's a moot thing to talk about too, because I don't think there's going to be anybody who's going to come over here and just be like, the graphics aren't good. Like, if they don't like the graphics, it's a personal preference kind of thing. Maybe they don't like how anime it looks, which I don't even think it looks that anime outside of Gundam Iron Man. But, like, outside of that, like, I don't even think there's anybody who can reasonably give a good argument that the game does not look good, you know? Dude, did you not see the penance stare, Anubati? In Marvel vs. Tokon? Marvel vs. Tokon. In Marvel Tokon, it's so good. It's so good, dude. It's so crazy. Oh, MVCI penance there. Okay, I got it. I got you. Don't worry. I got you. You don't have to explain. I totally get your joke now. Okay, sorry. It was a sarcasm. Okay. But, you know, I did write this big, long tweet, and I apologize, because basically what I'm just going to do here is just kind of read the tweet out to you guys. But I'll try to explain it a little bit more afterwards and stuff like this. But basically what I tweeted out was this, right? I basically said, look, I've said it before, but particularly the Western FGC, we spend too much time trying to bend games to our will, right? We want fighting games to meet our expectations of how they should play, as opposed to trying to appreciate the game that's given to us, right? So, Marvel Tokon is not Marvel versus Capcom. It's not trying to be, and it shouldn't have to. It's trying to be its own thing. And while there are some concerns that stand out as potential things that need to be tweaked, every game has flaws on release. The game having no, what do we call this here? The game what did I do? That's cool. The game having no mix or being too slow isn't really true. It just doesn't have the pace and personality you expect out of a Marvel team-based fighting game because of our years of madness from playing MVC games, right? But I think what we saw with the beta is a wonderful start. I love a lot of what Arxis is trying to do with the game. I can see their vision, and then I joked, of course, vision for DLC confirmed, and we should judge the game on its own merits as opposed to our want for a new MVC game. I get it. There's a gaping hole that exists right now where MVC type games should be. And I don't blame anyone just praying that, a game shows up that can fill that hole. But I think we have a very strong game at hand for now. I think there's a lot for us to learn about Marvel Tokon still. And the game has potential to get degenerate pretty quickly, pretty heavily once we get the actual time with the game. And it is, and as it is, yes, certain things definitely need tweaking. The chains and jump cancels need buffer windows, so the combos don't feel so underwater, as some players are saying, justifiably so. And the DP motion bug needs fixing because it's irritating as fork. I think the training mode needs to be better than it was during the beta. The training mode was good, but I'm spoiled by Street Fighter 6 training modes, so I just expect everything to be ridiculous. But I'm looking forward to the game, and I cannot wait for its official release. So this is what I said on Twitter. Now, a lot of people took this to mean it's okay that it has bugs and plays badly and has bad netcode. Like, we should accept it even if it's garbage. And clearly that's not what I'm saying here. Like, I'm specifically talking about the way the game plays. And I don't know why people are like, oh, just accept trash. That's what the message you're trying to send is. And I'm like, what? When did I ever say this, right? My whole thing is that I know a lot of people are complaining about the game because whether they are subconsciously or consciously doing so, they're comparing it to Marvel versus games, right? They're always like, the mix isn't good enough. It feels slow. Like, I want the assists to be more freeform when you call it, etc., etc. And, the thing about it is we, for some reason, have this kind of mindset that we know what a tag fighting game is supposed to be, right? When you think of a tag fighting game, right? When we look at 2XKO, when we look at Invincible Versus, look at Marvel vs. Capcom Infinite, or Ultimate Marvel vs. Capcom 3, Dragon Ball Fighters. We look at, did I say 2XKO already? I think I did. When we look at like MVC2, like, we have this idea that tag fighters are supposed to be just complete degenerate madness type fighting games. And this is kind of the problem that I have. I mean, people have literally responded to me like, this is how the game is supposed to be, right? Like, it's supposed to be crazy like this, right? And I'm just like, well, no, like, we don't know what it's supposed to be. We don't know what Arxis is trying to do with it. Because frankly, if you really want to get technical, a game like Tekken Tag Tournament and Street Fighter Cross Tekken are tag fighters as well. But they're designed in a way that they're not just like absolute air dash, double jump kind of shenanigans, right? That was kind of one of the reasons why I wanted to make a new Rival Schools game, was to do a lot of what Marvel Tokon did, but even go beyond that a little bit. But in similar ideas, I wanted to make a tag fighting game that didn't have to be some sort of just absolute like degenerate madness, right? I wanted to create a fighting game that people who enjoy slower paced games could try to enjoy a tag fighter. So maybe something like a Street Fighter Cross Tekken, but actually good, right? So, you know, the fact that everybody just automatically assumes that the game is supposed to be like this absolute like degenerate fest, I think is unfair to the game. And if we judge it that way, then we can't appreciate what's there. And as Original Gamer and I have already kind of stated, like, I think the game is gonna get there. I think it's actually gonna get pretty degenerate, just not in the way that we expected it to, right? Because we're used to tag fighters where if you do a hard tag, like, the situation is just bleak for the hard tagger, right? Like in all the MVC games, your character jumps in, is like bam, and then they're just like totally vulnerable. Like if someone hard tags in Dragon Ball Fighters, they do so with a super dash, and you can automatically anti-air them for free, etc., right? But like Marvel Tokon, you can hard tag, and the characters are basically not vulnerable. Not only that, but this is one of the first times where with the hard tag, you can do something with the original leader character, the original point character, before they tag out. Hard tag has a little bit of timing, and it doesn't mean your point character is frozen. So a lot of characters like Ms. Marvel, who have that spinny thing that hits multiple times, bada 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 bada, you can actually run up, do stuff, and then you can hard tag into another character and then do the special move with Ms. Marvel before the hard tag actually takes effect. So you do hard tag fireball, and then Ms. Marvel starts spinning, and then you hard tag into the character who jumped in. But Ms. Marvel is keeping them locked down with the spin, and so now you get a free high-low mix-up in that case, right? And so, you know, the degeneracy is going to get there. The mix is going to get there. It's just not how we wanted, like how we assumed it would work, because you're trying too hard to want it to be exactly like the game that you love. And if we keep doing that, like fighting games are never going to get advanced. Like we're never going to get unique stuff again. We're going to be stuck with the same things that we play over and over and over again. And I think that that's a problem. And that's why I'm talking about, you know, approaching this game from a standpoint of let's give this a chance. Let's let the game cook, because, you know, like I said, outside of the technical issues like netcode and PC ports and all that stuff like that, like this is clearly not a bad game, right? Like people are like, oh, so now we just accept bad products? Like again, I thought I made it perfectly clear. I'm not talking about the technical stuff, and that's how I responded to a lot of people. I was like, I'm not talking about I'm just talking about the gameplay, you know. But, you know, like a lot of people are just like really down on this game, but like it's not a bad game. Like how it is right now, this game is incredible, right? Like incredible in terms of how it looks, how it plays, and like what you get to do. The talk, like the dialogue between the characters is kind of ridiculous. And, you know, there's so many cool Easter eggs in the background and like all these things. Like the game is a really well-made game. And yes, there are gameplay issues. Again, obviously there are gameplay issues. I like the people were like, oh, whatever, you just, I'm like, no, because I literally stated in my post some gameplay issues that I have. So like the chaining and the jump canceling, this is a problem that that Skullgirls had before it was released, in that, you know, it's a Marvel game, but the moves in general had more frame data than a lot of the actual Capcom Marvel Versus games. Marvel Versus games, I mean, like, I swear to God, like, there are no slow, like, really slow moves except for, like, Juggernaut and stuff like that, right? But the thing about it was, because if you have moves that take a really long time to start up, that slows your chain down, right? So in other words, a lot of times when I try to do like stand H into crouch H, stand H would have a little bit of slower startup, And so I would hit down H before my stand H actually hit. But, you know, in a game like this with high adrenaline, you do light, medium, heavy, down, heavy, like really fast. You go light, medium, heavy, and then down heavy is like the stand heavy is starting up. You've hit down heavy, and then you've already let go of the button by the time you stab them, and suddenly you don't get a chain. The same thing happened to me with a lot of jump cancels. When I was doing air combos, I would do HMH. But then the H would take a while to come out, so I would hit up before the H actually hit, so I didn't get a jump cancel. So when you hear a lot of people talking about how it felt like the game is underwater or that I had to slow myself down to play the game, that's the main issue with it, is because they didn't take into account the fact that, you know, the long startup on these moves felt like it would slow, like you feels like you have to play the game a little bit slower. And while people can get used to that and that would be fine, making the game feel good to control is so important. And that little factor right there alone already makes the game feel less comfortable to control. Again, Mike Z brought Skullgirls to my house before it came out, and I told him this. I was like, when I play MVC games, I don't feel like I have to slow down like this at all. But in this game, I feel like I have to slow down a little bit. And he's like, so what do you think I should do? And I was like, just make it so that if you press the button a little bit earlier, it still chains. Like, it just gives you a little bit of leeway. Nowadays, I can just call it buffers the input, right? And he's like, okay, I'll try that out. And he did. He added the buffer to the chains. He added the buffer to the jump cancels as well. And I have seen people tweet about this, like, this is why Skullgirls is so great, because it has this little thing, and, you know, it feels way more comfortable to do this and stuff like that, you know, and all I can think of is, you know, like the meme of like, you know, it was me all along kind of a thing, you know, but like I understand, because again, when I play fighting games, a lot about fighting games is how the game feels to me to play it. And the more comfortable a game feels, the more enjoyable it is. And I don't think a lot of people think about that as much, right? And so, you know, it made it so that Skullgirls felt snappier. And Tokon needs to do the exact same thing at this point, honestly. So, it's going to get cheaper than MVC ever was, James. But possibly. But keep in mind, when you tag into the opponent, the original character, or when you tag into another character, the original character, everything they do turns into a mid, right? As soon as you tag away from the character, you don't have to worry about the original character's high-low anymore. You only have to block high-low against the point character, if I'm not mistaken. Because it wasn't like this before, but I remember they specifically stated that they were making that change to make it so that you didn't have these crazy unblockables with your assist that were just free and just murdered everybody in the previous beta. Nobody's seeing the left-right mix-up in this game as well. There's so many air normals that would stop your momentum cold. And again, you know, in those situations, that's where since this is the official stream, I'm not going to say it, but that's where the assemble smash and the assemble counters come in, because one can be done at neutral, the other can be done at down. And even if you're holding the wrong direction and they switch you up, you go from the counter to the smash or the smash to the counter, so that you can actually try to avoid those things, right? Because you're hoping there's a gap, because if you're still in the block stun, then the left-right mix-up doesn't work, because you're still in block stun and you're just going to auto-block left-right no matter what, right? High-low doesn't get auto-blocked, but left-right gets auto-blocked in just about every fighting game. If there's enough of a gap so the left-right can hit you, that means you had to have come out of block stun, and so if you think that that's going to happen, an assemble smash or an assemble counter can be thrown out in those times. Or, you know, if it is an air dash kind of thing, you can call your anti-air assist, which is a little awkward because you have to hold down, but I don't think they did that by accident either. I think they wanted to make you take a risk against jumping attacks by forcing you to hit down and call an anti-air assist. But yeah, so I think the team that needs to become DLC is the Thunderbolts. I mean, maybe they've got a lot of characters they need to get in here before the Thunderbolts, I think. So we'll probably have to wait a little bit for them. The movement bothered me the most. I generally felt sad first time loading in Doom and Magneto and feeling that slow. I know it won't ever be MVC, but take us out of the mud. It's a team fighting with tons of shit on the screen and assists. Let us move. Moving is how you get around neutral mess. Yeah, I mean, I think the thing about Magneto and Doctor Doom is that they... did Doom have 8-way air dash? I don't remember. I know Magneto did. But obviously the 8-way air dash, you can't really attack out of the 8-way air dash. So, yeah, the yellow anti-air is the you're talking about the L plus A, right? That is the assemble smash. That's the assemble smash. Doom felt awkward because he had teleport dash, for sure. And Magneto, his 8-way dash, like he couldn't attack out of it, so it was really, really kind of weird. So, oh, that's what you meant by the slang. Okay, got it. Yeah, so for sure it doesn't feel like you have the movement, but again, that's based a lot off of your experience on older Marvel games, right? If we had never had those games before, you know, Magneto's air dash might not feel so bad, right? He might not feel as sluggish because, you know, we had no comparison. Obviously, a character like Magneto in Marvel vs. Capcom games have some of the greatest movement ever, and that's where it is. And if that's your cup of tea, if you want to play a game with like the greatest movement ever, go play Avatar. Okay, Avatar came out this weekend as well. I haven't had a chance to play it as much, so I can't really. I don't have a whole segment set up to talk about it, because the game is still relatively new to me, because I was playing Tokon this whole weekend, but I'm planning to play a lot more Avatar when I get the chance. But that game is like movement heaven, basically. If you enjoy movement in a fighting game, go do yourself a favor and download Marvel Tokon. I mean, not Marvel Tokon, Avatar, Avatar Legends. Did you lay on my brush, Nathan? I think you did. So download that, because that game has movement for days. Like, if you can learn how to control your character, and you will feel like a god controlling your characters, because the movement in that game is insane. So if you are a person who wants to play a game that's about movement, go play Avatar. Straight up, because that, like, it's clear that the people designing that game, that was their whole goal. Their whole goal was to make it so that game was the game of movement. So there you go. But yeah, for sure, you know, Magneto, Doctor Doom might feel a little slower, etc., because obviously Doctor Doom in a lot of the Marvel games also had he had 8-way air dash, and, you know, even though he had a weaker ground dash, but, you know, you do the tri-jumps and stuff like that, and I think that's really important for, for Marvel versus Capcom Doctor Doom. But yeah, obviously the Doctor Dooms here aren't as or the characters in Tokon might not have the same kind of movement, but some of them are still kind of insane. Like Storm is pretty crazy, Black Panther's pretty crazy. So, you know, you just got to find the right characters, that might have a little bit more movement that you would like. So, what's up, Raph? What's going on? Thank you for the raid. Appreciate it. Hope you're doing well. Hope I get to see you at CEO, maybe. You going to CEO? I'm not sure. Yeah. I know Mike Z's worked on Avatar. I know he works on Avatar. But I mean, I heard that has to be one of the main reasons why the net code for that game is like, I've heard is like fantastic and stuff like that. Cool. All right. Hopefully I get to see you there. But the nice thing about CEO is your chances of running into people is significantly higher than a lot of other events. So hopefully I will run into you over there. But yeah, so like, again, this is what I mean by tapering expectations. This is what I mean by people, whether they are subconsciously or consciously doing it, a lot of their complaints about the game are that it's not MVC, right? And in a lot of ways, you just kind of have to sometimes be like, ooh, okay, I'm just going to have to accept the fact that this is not, like, this is its own thing. This is a different game, literally by a different company. And in fact, a lot of the moves that you see and a lot of the things that happen with the characters are so similar to actual, like, Guilty Gear and other stuff that, we're really comparing it to the wrong games. Because, like, I see people land raw 2H and they do jump attack, jump cancel, jump attack, blah, 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 not realizing that raw 2H is like dust from Guilty Gear, that you raw 2H and you go up into the air, you can go heavy, medium, heavy, medium, heavy, medium, heavy, and then like jump cancel and do all sorts of crazy shit, And a lot of people didn't know that because they were just thinking that raw 2H was just another standard launcher, Do you think that it is weird to want to sleep with a fictional character? Look, Nut Blaster Elite, I love the name. If I thought it was weird to want to sleep with a fictional character, I would think that the majority of the planet is weird, okay? Look, let's be honest here, okay? Let's be honest here. Everybody, like, people wanting to sleep with fictional characters has been a thing since the dawn of time, okay? So, like, that's never gonna go away. So, no, I don't think it's weird. I think it's pretty dang common. Like, I would say the majority of people that live on this planet feel that way. Honestly. Oh, man. I mean, how many of us grew up with, like, some of these cartoons and you see some of these characters and you're just like, oh my God, she's hot, right? Like, what? Like, it's just, dude, there's nothing look, you can't help it. Like, anybody says, like, I've never thought about sleeping with a fictional character, that means that person has never partaken in any fiction. All right? Let's just be honest with it. Let's be honest with everybody, okay? If you say, I have never wanted to sleep with a fictional character, that means you have never actually partaken in any form of fictional storytelling whatsoever. Daphne from Scooby-Doo is a good call. Yeah, exactly, dude. Like, come on, right? I mean, how many people saw, like, Who Framed Roger Rabbit, and then that was, like, the end, right? Like, you're just like, oh my God. Right? I mean, dude, come on. Yeah, exactly. Novels, dude. Novels, for sure, novels. Like, what do you think romance novels were for? Shakespeare wrote a lot of tawdry stuff happening in his plays because they were supposed to be titillating, right? They were supposed to bring audiences to the stadiums. I mean, he has a lot of, like, sex and murder and violence and shit in his plays, and we all treat it like the greatest thing nowadays, but back then it was like, he's just writing smut, basically, Tifa, oh my God, like, yeah, let's not even, okay, I will say I didn't feel that way about Tifa, but that's just because I'm not as attracted to when it's, like, obvious. Like, when you design the characters so that like, the whole point is just to make, horny boys get excited, that kind of turns me off a little. I don't know what it is. It's kind of like wanting to play low-tier characters all the time. You want to go against the grain. There's a little bit of that contrarian status. You know what I mean? Like, you don't want to be like, oh my God, like, Tifa, oh my God, because, like, it's so obvious, right? Like she's made to be like the perfect person, you know what I mean? So I am, yeah, like Laura Croft. I was never really into Laura Croft. Like there was no point in time which I can remember myself being like, oh my God, like, oh, Laura Croft is so hot. I was just like, so boring. Oh, Who Framed Roger Rabbit is one of my favorite movies of all time, honestly, Habukami, because if you actually watch it, like, if you actually sit down and see what they did with that movie, because this was before CG, like, it's one of the craziest technical marvels you've ever seen in a movie. Like there's that one scene where Roger Rabbit takes the drink and he shoots around the room and goes completely insane and stuff. They rigged the entire room with photos and pictures and jackets and everything to swerve in a wave pattern when Roger Rabbit jumps around it. Like it's all machines and like actuators and stuff. So when Roger Rabbit zooms around the wall and all the paintings do this in order, it's all actuators and it's all practical effects. And Roger Rabbit puts his hand on his brother's chair and Eddie Valiant gets mad and he's like, don't sit in the chair, that's my brother's chair. And when Roger Rabbit lifts his hand, he leaves behind fingerprints in the dust. Right? Like there's so many like subtle things they do and it's incredible. It's absolutely incredible. And so for me, as a person who grew up watching those cartoons and loved those cartoons, and then as a person who really loves like filmmaking and you know, and how practical effects like that, you know, work, like that movie to me is just like one of the greatest things, honestly. So Trish. Oh, Trish is Devil May Cry, right? Devil May Cry, Trish. Yeah, for me, like I said, it's always been about like the glasses wearing, more mature kind of woman. So like I said, Kyoko from Rival Schools is like, you know, like one of the hottest characters to me. I was in college when I played Final Fantasy VIII, so it's not as creepy thinking Quistis was really hot as well, okay? I was still in college when this was happening, so it's not as crazy as it sounds. But yeah, I have not had a chance to go see the Odyssey yet, so I'll have to see that at some point in time. Anyways, we've gone far off the topic here, but the main point that I really wanted to specify is that, you know, if we can approach Marvel Tokon as its own thing, I think it has a lot of potential to be really, really good. Like I said, there are things that I would fix. I would like to see a way that the combo scaling system would award more variety in combos, because before the stream officially started, in fact, maybe editor, if you want to go back to the beginning before the stream officially started, where I showed this combo, and it just does a grip of damage, even though that it like wasn't very fancy at all. You know, if we could figure out a way to make the scaling so that we reward interesting combos a lot more. Like, I think it's fair to just add staling, not scaling, staling on moves so that the more often you use the move in one combo, the less and less damage it does. And if we put the staling on a geometric curve, right? Not on a straight line, but like on a geometric curve, I think that works. So if you use it 2 times, it barely scales. If you use it 3 times, maybe a little scaling. 4 times, now it starts to scale, but by the time you get to like the 5th and 6th, it just starts eating the damage away. And so like forcing people to actually change up their combos. Now, this is not a small change, okay? Because if you implement this now, this is something that you're going to have to program, that the game is keeping track of every move that you use in a combo. But what would be cool about this, though, but the reason why staling would be really, exactly like Street Fighter EX XL combos, original gamer. That was one of the first times I had seen that. And that's exactly what I'm thinking of when I was talking about this. It's great. I love that you brought that up. So that way I can realistically go, yes, exactly like EX, the custom combos in that game. But the reason why the staling would also be really powerful is because then it would also perhaps reward you for hard tagging in the middle of the combos more, right? If you made it so that the staling was character specific, so that if you just kept doing the same move with one character over and over again, it stales really badly, then hard tagging to another character, you've never used any of their moves before, so everything starts all over again with the normal combo damage, right? You have normal damage scaling, and then you have damage staling, right? So damage scaling is the overall combo scaling, and damage staling is each of the individual moves. And so if you design it that way, you know, you can do a combo and you use all these moves and it starts to stale your character's moves. You hard tag and now the staling is reset. Combo scaling is still there just to prevent people from just obliterating people with hard tag combos. But then you can add more damage that way. And I think that would be beautiful. Like, I think that's a perfect way to add variety to the game and make it so that you want to try to use different moves and different specials and different characters in one combo. Like, I think that would be brilliant. I think that would be I think that would make the game like chef's kiss, honestly. I like Kaya's idea of a combo breaker so that if you overuse a move, the opponent can combo break it. Yeah, it's not even just that if you overuse a move, it's just that, you know, if you just keep doing the same combo, yeah, it becomes very, very obvious to break, right? So if they just keep doing the same thing, and it's not even necessarily to predict, but I mean, that's the way the whole game works, is that the light linkers are, and the light specials are. No, it was mostly the linkers. You know, the lights are very... No, it was the specials. It was the specials. They're usually really fast, so you don't have a big window to break them. And then the medium ones were a little bit slower, and then the heavy ones gave you a big window. So you could definitely react to the heavy hits really easily to break them. The light ones you had to predict, but the light ones also did significantly less damage than the heavy ones. So if you did a whole combo full of nothing but light special moves and stuff like that, you were really nerfing your own damage. If you did the heavier ones, you would do a lot of damage, but then it was very easy for the enemy to break them. However, obviously you had counter breakers, so that if you thought they were going to break it, you could predict it, but then that's just adding a whole level, because now if you guess wrong, like... You can take a shit ton of damage for guessing wrong, because you get locked out for a long period of time. But yeah, there's a lot of cool ways to have these things change up and stuff, and I really do think move staling would help Marvel Tokon a lot. And I got to remember that, because I got to put it into the survey after this. Whenever it is that I fill out the survey. So combo staling, I think, is really, really important for Marvel Tokon as well. So, you need to spend an hour to open all of Tetsuya Nomura's belt buckles. Yes, this is very true. Oh, man. So, yeah. There's clearly a lot of things that need to be tweaked, and I fully expect this game to come out and be kind of like someone's gonna find something that's like stupidly busted, and like you're just gonna be able to murder everybody with like some really dumb tactic, which is gonna make them have to look into it. Because again, this is a brand new game with a brand new system and a brand new, like, whenever we get a game like this that is not really based on anything else, it gets to a point where these games have a high chance of coming out kind of broken, you know? It just really depends on how good their play testers are and stuff, right? And also how fast they can get some patches out and stuff. But they have a lot of experience. Like I said, you could tell a lot of things have Strive and Dragon Ball DNA behind it. Like, I love the fact that Green Goblin, like, one of his glider attacks is he throws the glider out, but it comes back and it can hit you. Like, I thought that was just a reference to the original Sam Raimi, Tobey Maguire Spider-Man movie, right? That when he sends the glider out, it comes back, it can hit himself. And then Olaf reminded me that that's what Frieza did in Dragon Ball. Frieza has the ability to, you know, he had that one wake-up move where he could throw the fireball, but then it could come back and hit him too, right? So, yeah, I mean, again, like, they seem like they're doing pretty good with it so far. They are literally, like, they just put out a tweet. Let me see if I can find said tweet. I definitely retweeted it over here. They said, what is happening? Twitter is such a terrible site. Okay, here we go. They say that Tokon Warriors, what a weekend. Thank you to everyone who jumped into the open beta and joined the fight. This is exactly why we run these, to get the game in your hands and find what we can make better before launch. To our PC players, message received. The team is already hard at work on the performance you deserve, both improvements with improvements lined up for day one, and then they say reducing overall CPU usage to improve performance, fixing frame rate drops and lag, resolving an issue causing unnecessary shader compilation at startup, improving compatibility when streaming with OBS and Discord, and addressing rollback netcode and crossplay issues. We are working on fixes for a number of other reported issues. Every match you played taught us something, and we're heads down making sure Marvel Tokon Fighting Souls delivers at launch and beyond. This is just the start. See you on August 6th. This is a great thing about, you know, that's a great reply already, honestly. Like, I'm really impressed that they threw that out there and were so open about it, right? Like, they were literally just like, yep, here's the problems. You don't see this from Japanese companies very often. So, you know, for me, I'm thinking like maybe this is more of a Arxis USA kind of decision here. Like, you know, put this out and maybe whoever's in charge of the social media in Arxis USA or something, I don't know. But kudos to them for putting this out, because like I said, Japanese companies very rarely come out and be like, hey, yeah, we fucked up, we'll try to fix it. Like, it's very rare. So this is a good sign. I like this, right? But let's hope it keeps up. That's the thing, right? Like, they can be like this all they want when the game is coming out, because obviously they want sales, but like, can they maintain this level of communication? That's the question. But I do think that the game is in a great position, right? My personal take on it is like, okay, it might not be as crazy as MVC, but maybe that means I can actually play it. Because I'll tell you right now, I don't know what it is about tag fighters, but my brain does not process tag fighters at all. At all. Like, I cannot, like, there's something about the fact that the calling of assists are different characters, or like, I have tags set to a certain, I could not tag to save my life. I just couldn't tag. Like, I would do this call the assist and I'd want to tag, and I just had no idea what button to press. I hit every wrong button and it was just like crazy, and then like, I can't like switch character. Dude, I don't know what it is, but like, tag fighters just explode my brain, and I've never been good at tag fighters. So I was really hoping that I could maybe try to learn how to get good at this, but so far the start is a little off, but we'll see what happens as I keep playing this, because it's just like my brain can't multitask that well in fighting games, or in any video game, frankly, because like, I was playing Hollow Knight, and there's one boss like where the girl rides the big giant monster, and then they fight you separately. Like the monster rolls at you and shoots fireball, and then the girl leaps into the air and then like tries to stab you. I swear, when I'm dealing with the monster on the ground shooting fire and then the girl jumps, I don't even see her jump. Like, I just don't even see it. Like, I'm just like fighting the monster on the ground, I'm being good, and then the lady comes out of nowhere and stabs me, and I'm like, what? And that move has like 9,000 frames of startup, dude. Or like she leaps at me and I'm like, I'm gonna parry timing it. I'm gonna parry timing it. And then the monster rolls at me and I'm like, I'm gonna parry time it. I'm gonna bam, the monster rolls into me. I don't know what it was. Like as soon as I focused on one thing, I couldn't focus on anything else. I don't understand what the hell was wrong with me. So like I don't know what it is about what do you call it, tag fighters that like messes me up, or is it just the ADHD that I have so much trouble like focusing and multitasking my brain into multiple situations or something like that. So oh yeah, the Happy Chaos. It wasn't even infinite. Happy Chaos had the infinite, like it was an infinite block string, I think it was. It's just like once he started it, like you couldn't do anything about it or something like that. Because I don't think it was an infinite combo. I'm pretty sure it was just like this infinite block string that just made it so that you just, like, if he got a life lead, he could just basically zone you out until you died, pretty much. So also nice that they didn't put the weird multi-stage 2D hubs of Guilty Gear in the game. I always thought Guilty Gear had the greatest lobbies, just the worst net code. You mean the original Guilty Gear, right? Of like GGXX and stuff like that. Because GGXX, everybody's talked about, had the greatest lobbies of all time because they're just normal. Now, I don't mind the graphical ones like 2XKO has and Strive, I believe. Oh, the Strive has the hotel thing, which is a little messy. But like if they added something like that, I think it's fine. But what I think is that there needs to be the text option, right? Like you should not make it so that the game forces you into this little lobby thing that you can just play pure ranked and you can also do the little lobby thing, right? Because for some people that's crucial to feel like you have a little avatar running around, and it allows you to reward players with cool avatar costumes and stuff like that to, up the dopamine, right? This is an important factor, right? It's not just like, oh, you get to make the characters look cooler, or you're just vain because you want cool, like, no, there's like a dopamine hit, like if you're playing something and it's like you've played this character so much, and now for your little mini avatar running around, you can put this on him, or you can make your little Wolverine avatar now in the brown costume, or now you can make him look like, the movie version of Wolverine, etc., right? Like that, those little things are important because those are dopamine hits that you want to give to the players as rewards, right? And that is how you get people to keep playing these fighting games. However, there are some people that won't get any dopamine hits out of that, and they hate the stupid user interface, and they just want to just sit and look and be like, challenge, and here we go. Hey, this guy, challenge them. It looks like their connection is great. Like, again, do both. Do both. Put both in the game. I don't know why people don't do this. Oh, man. I was a deer in headlights once I got off my point character. Yeah, I mean, that's a little bit, too, of just, like, I'm not familiar with other characters as much. Like, for me, literally, like, there's something that, like, blocks me that, like, whenever I, like, want to change characters or whatever, like, when I play 2XKO, and, like, you're trying to call your assist while you're doing your own stuff, but it's like, I want to do the back special move into this and all this other stuff. It was just like, it was so weird. Like, it's just like, every time it involves, like, this kind of weird assist calling, like, my brain melts. I don't know what it is. So, like, in MVC 3, for example, like every time I practiced a team, like Felicia, Doom, Strider, or I played, what was it, Felicia, what was the other team that I played? Oh, God. Oh, it was Shuma. It was Felicia, Shuma, Doom, I think it was, that I played. And, I played all these different teams, and when I practiced, I tried, I was like, it was really hard. But if I played my original team, which was Ghost Rider, Felicia, and Doom, in which I literally had no strategy and just like spammed buttons, like I did better at the game because like I was just spamming my assists and I just didn't care. Like the fact that I was just using them more like special moves as opposed to actually trying to like be clever and time them properly and shit. I was just like, go! And like I actually did better. It's weird. Oh, right. It's a good call. I'll change that in right now. Let's see. For I'm sure there's a way to turn it on the mobile one. Do we know if there's a way to turn it on in the mobile one? I'm assuming there is, but until I figure that out, I won't. I'll leave it. I'll leave it alone. I'm sure there's a way to turn it on mobile platforms, but not 100% sure. But in any case, I found the game really fun. The team that I'm looking into right now is a very, very weird team and not one that I was expecting, but Black Panther was awesome. So I would have her at point with Ghost Rider in second, and the second can change. I just have Ghost Rider there right now because I really want to use Ghost Rider because again, I used him in UMVC 3. And he was actually on my main team for MVCI when I first started learning that game. I played Ghost Rider Spider-Man. So I've always just liked playing Ghost Rider. So I want to get good at Ghost Rider, but he's kind of like scary right now because I know he's got that Nagoriyuki blood thing mechanic, right? He's got the overheat, and I am infamous for like burning myself out in Street Fighter 6 and not paying attention to my grid in Under Night and stuff like that. So I don't I don't know if he'll work out for me, but he's there right now because he is the character that I want to use. Then I have Penny Parker as the anti-air assist because Penny Parker's really dorky. And then I have and you know, I was having fun with her. And then I have Dr. Doom in the back because his little hidden laser assist is really annoying, right? But my whole goal is to build the team with Black Panther, switch to Penny Parker so I have her on point, and then all I do is spam her unique, which is just throwing out machines, while I call out Ghost Rider attacking with the chain in the front, Shuri throwing spears diagonally upwards to cover the sky, and calling Dr. Doom's hidden lasers and throwing web balls. So I'm just like, web ball, unique, assist, web ball, unique, assist, web ball, unique, assist, like all day, and just like trying to be as annoying as possible with random zoning. It probably won't work. It'll probably lose really easily to somebody who's just patient. But I kind of just want to see if I can learn it, get so good at it as kind of like a Morrigan, like fireball spam assist, kind of a UMVC 3 thing. And if I can get good enough at it, I just want to like play online when the game comes out and just count how many rage quits I get. That's all I want. I actually just want to count how many rage quits I get. So I'm just going to use Black Panther, maybe even splurge through her Bast's Love, Command Dash unique ability just to get the wall breaks and stuff, just to get the team members, immediately switch to Penny Parker, and then just start trying to annoy people as much as possible. That's the thought I have right now. It probably won't work, but it would be hilarious if it did. Because then I could play it the same way I was playing the Ghost Rider Felicia Doom team that I was playing, where all I did was jump S, call an assist, jump S, call an assist. Oh, the enemy got hit randomly? Stand H, reaches across the screen, combo, and like... Basically, I would be replicating that strategy, which makes it so that I can play tag fighters a little bit better. So we'll see. But overall, I think the game is really promising right now. And again, I like what it does because it is a one-bar game. So everybody, you don't need to have you don't need to switch characters. So you can actually learn the game playing only one character. And I think that's so crucial. And what's best about that is you can play it with one character. You can try learning only one character. And then when you actually get to a point where you want to learn your second character, all you have to do is swap the two front characters. And again, the front assist is mostly going to be the same, right? The front assist is mostly going to be the same. So hang on a second. I'm trying to multitask here. See, I can't even multitask necessarily in real life very easily. But like, you know, you basically have the same thing except a different point character, but your anti-air assist is the same, your back assist is the same. And then after you learn those two, you can swap to a third assist. You know, you can take your third character to point and, you know, hopefully one of your other two characters has a similar anti-air assist to the one that you're replacing. And you can take your time to learn all four characters on your team, and then you can get really strong that way. But the beautiful part is, like, after you learn your first character and you get really good at them, when you play your second character, you know, you can just basically be like, oh, okay, I'm not going to switch to the other character unless I can get a hit or something like that. And so what that happens is it makes it so that you learn how to play your secondary character, but you have your main as a crutch. You can now switch to your main anytime you want to, and kind of use them as a crutch, and then always start with your secondary character and then switch to the main as a crutch, kind of a thing, you know? And so it really helps the process of learning. And again, getting your teammates is something that you have to actively try to do. And to do that is you have to get your opponent to the corner so that you can get the screen transitions and such. And so this kind of automatically teaches players to want to put the enemy in the corner and mix them up by either a throw or hitting them with something as simple as LLLL, right? And once you actually do that, then you get the other teammates. And so, you know, I've often said one of the problems with fighting games is like round one fight, the other guy stabs you in the face right when the game starts, and you're just like, what? Like, there's like no like progress, right? You're not sure what you're supposed to do. Whereas, you know, a lot of other competitive games, right? You have, for example, in shooters, you have to run up and go find good positions and choke points. You have that build up kind of thing. Or in MOBAs, you're trying to build as much money and experience by last hitting minions and building stuff up and trying to get yourself powerful. Or in RTSs, you have your standard build order in which you're trying to build. In other words, you have a progression. Fighting games don't give you a lot of progression. This game gives you progression. And I think that's really kind of a smart decision on their part, that, you know, players can play and be like, oh shoot, I want my whole team so I can do these cool assemble combos and like have like more assists and stuff like that. So I really need to throw them through this wall, or I really need to hit them with this LLL at the wall. And so it kind of makes the players have this progression. They have a small goal, which is get the enemy to the corner, which is a good goal no matter what, right? Like, that's a good way to force people to understand that the corner is an important place to put the enemy. And then you try to build your team, and once your team is built, now you get to do all the cool shit. And so there is a little bit of progression there, and I think that that's really neat as well. So I do feel like the game, and again, a lot of the things you can do with the auto combos and stuff. And I know some people don't like auto combos, but this game has a lot of stuff. Like if you hold back, you won't auto combo off of your buttons, etc., while you're on the ground and stuff. But, you know, there's a lot of like beginner-friendly mechanics there that can help you through the beginning of it. And I think that's really important. And I think that's a good job. But, you know, we've often talked about, you know, lowering the barrier of entry has nothing to do with lowering the skill ceiling. And I feel like that's what they're doing here, because the skill ceiling in this game is still pretty high too, because there are some really like hard combos and stuff like that in this game, and there's some really tricky execution stuff in this game. So I feel like they're doing a good job trying to keep the barrier of entry low and the skill ceiling pretty high. The question now is just, did they serve the middle well enough? Because Olaf was pointing out to me, some people were complaining that they're like, yeah, this game is really good for beginners and it's really rewarding for, tryhards and stuff like that. But it's the middle, it's the middle tier of players that like might have a little hard time, with the game and stuff. And it's a really interesting call. I hadn't really thought about that. And so that's something that I'm going to, pay attention to more when the game actually comes out. We'll see how that goes. But yeah, oh, thank you, TV antenna. That's a good point. My throat is getting kind of dry. Yeah, Marvel has always been the most rewarding for the tryhards practicing combos in the basement. Yeah, absolutely. It's always been a very, very good game for people who love execution and combos and just finding cool shit, right? Like, finding cool shit is like one of the greatest things about fighting games. So there's a lot of people who really just like that's their focus. And I think this game will have enough of that, honestly. I really do. But like I said, there has to be a way to reward players for doing different things as opposed to just doing 2 moves, assist, 2 moves, assist, 2 moves, assist into level 3 and having that do 80,000 damage, right? Like, hopefully the more unique combos will pay off in the end and stuff like that. And yeah, and obviously, social media makes everything different, which is a great segue, to be honest with you, to get over to this topic over here. So before I switch over, does anybody have any last things that they wanted to ask about Marvel Tokon? I know I'm not talking about the beta and everything that I found out, and like I didn't describe the characters or anything like that, or what are the system mechanics and stuff. I'm just talking mostly about where I think the game has a place and has an audience, and I think that there's a lot of potential for this game, and I want people to approach the game from the aspect that this is a different game, that this is not Marvel versus Capcom, that this is its own thing, and there's going to be a lot of grime in this game at some point, for sure, because, I mean, we've already saw a sneak peek of that right before the beta ended, so after people had 3 days with it, they were finding some definitely grimier stuff on there. I mean, like, I was trying to come up with mix-ups. I couldn't find a lot of them because I was thinking so Marvel versus Capcom brain, right? And then I saw what people were doing online, and all of a sudden I was just like, whoa! I was like, whoa, you can do that? What? Oh my God! I think that's really cool. So, that's the goal at this point, is to wait till it comes out. It comes out on August... Nathan, when did I get muted? When did I get muted? When did I get muted? What was I saying when I got muted? But, okay, look, the game is coming out on August 6th, and when that
James, switch the cameras.
No, I got it, JMV, I got it. Okay, the game is coming out on August 6th, and I can't wait to get my hands on it. So yeah, it's coming out in a week and 2 days from the live stream of this. I'm not sure when this might go up on YouTube as an official video, but yeah, it'll be out in a week and 2 days. I'm excited for it. I can't wait to play it and see if I can actually get good at tag fighters. So, all right, I will see you guys next time. Peace. Not actually seeing you guys next time. That's just in case my editor wants to use that outro there. So if you're wondering right now why I keep getting muted like that, is because this is my microphone. This is the beautiful Elgato Wave 3 microphone that they gave me for free because I'm a content creator. So I love Elgato. I love the Wave 3 microphone. No, I legit actually love this microphone. I don't know how it does it, but like before, like all the old microphones, if I put it on the table, like if I hit the table, it was just like really loud. But somehow this microphone doesn't pick up on a lot of those vibrations and stuff like that. It's really kind of remarkable. I'm not sure what they did to make that work. Because you have to put the microphone in, and what are those, like the little bands, so it like floats and stuff like that. So it's really, really good. But to mute this microphone, it is a touch button on the top of the microphone right here. It's not actually a button. It's just... And now I'm unmuted. There you go. I'm unmuted. So Nathan here likes to rub his head on the top of my microphone. He likes to do this all over the microphone. And when he does that, if his nose touches the mute button, he mutes the microphone. He actually just mutes my microphone, and that's what happens. So it's hilarious. Oh my God, Nathan. Good boy. Good boy. You are such a troublemaker, you. You are such a troublemaker. Good boy. Good boy. Good boy. Bonk. Bonk. Yep, see, he's doing it. He's rubbing his head on the microphone. Good boy. I've been doing okay, Satsui no Tanden. Being a content creator, commentator is rough work. It's not particularly lucrative. And so it's been a lot of struggles. The past couple of years have been hard for even outside of financial reasons and stuff, but I'm doing my best. I'm doing my best. I'm trying to, stay afloat and continue to try to spread my love of fighting games as much as I can. So, it's tough because everybody that I talk to is always like, dude, James, you gotta quit this. You gotta quit this. You gotta get a job. You gotta get a job. And they're right. I should get a job. Like this is not a way to live, honestly. But I still feel like I've never truly given myself a real chance in the area of content creation because I've been so bad at streaming and stuff. And so I'm going to try my best here. I'm going to try my best to stream more and do more content and do lots of other stuff, or get a sugar mama. Absolutely, Zen4. If anybody knows an older woman who has a lot of money, who is single, and is looking for a nerd, just, say the word. Say the word. Oh, man. Just let me know, okay? Just let me know. And is okay with having a fat nerd who likes to talk about fighting games and Israel, I won't mind if if she's really hot, but but yeah, if you can find one, just let me know. Let me know. That's all. That's all. Oh man. Unfortunately, you can't do that and has to like cats. But you can't put that in your online dating profiles, right? You can't put down, hey, looking for a sugar mama. Although a lot of the times people are like, dude, when you're like on online dating sites, a lot of times, like I post up my profile, I don't have my job listed on my profiles for certain sites. And like people ask, what do you do for work? And I'm like, well, you know, I'm doing this because it's a passion of mine and it allows me to meet people all over the world. And I get to travel a lot and I get to see this. I've had all these great, wonderful experiences. It's not lucrative, but like it's so much fun and I would never trade it for the world because I've gotten to do. You'll never get a response, dude. Like, no matter how good you make it sound. As long as you say it's not lucrative and that's the end. That's the end right there. As soon as you say that, it's goodbye. So, oh man. Definitely talked with some people before, conversation back and forth. It's like going really well. And they finally ask the question, so what do you do for work? And then I give them the answer, and then I never hear from them again. Oh man. Oh, what the heck is that fighting game journey that you're on? That's crazy. What could that kind of a journey be? Oh, you're trying to learn MVC. No wonder you were in duck streams. Oh my God. Yeah, they try to get you to pay more. And also, it's really tough too, especially if you're a fan of, if you're trying to date like largely, mostly Asian women. There's a lot of like bots or fake profiles out there that they're just trying to like scam you, and like you can usually spot them pretty easily when they're like the first thing they tell you is contact me on WhatsApp, you know, and then you're like, oops. Look, Xanfor, the hardest part about it is if I was younger and I was looking for women in their like 30, like at their early 30s, the video game reputation would have a lot more sway. But when I'm looking for women who are my age, like video games are still like just like the biggest red flag to a lot of women that are my age or younger than, you know, like 10 years to less younger than me. I mean, I've gone on blind dates before a long time ago, like when I was like early 30 or when late 20, went on a blind date and she's like, oh, what are your hobbies? And I was like, oh, I like playing video games. And like, you could just see the color drain out of this girl's face, man. Like as soon as I said that, because this was at the height, by the way, of the GTA controversies, right? When hot coffee and all that shit was happening, right? And so, like, well, because back then I wasn't a YouTuber, right? So, oh, I mean, you mean right now. But again, like, yeah, that's not, like, a lot of the girls that are my age that you see on these dating sites they're looking for financial stability. Like, that's one of the most common things that you will see in women's profiles in their late 40s is that I'm looking for somebody who's stable, has financial stability, etc., etc. And like, I am the furthest thing from, right? So like, what am I gonna do? What am I gonna do? So yeah, that girl, like, she didn't even say, oh, video games, but like, my God, you could just see her interest completely disappear. And as soon as that happened, like, it was just like, all right, let's finish the dinner. I'll pay for the dinner. Goodbye. And like, I tried to end that thing so fast. Holy crap. It was not good. Not good. Oh, man. That's not necessarily true, Forrest, especially once you get into the late 40s. Once you get into the late 40s, you will find that most women at that age are looking for long-term relationships. But because they're looking for long-term relationships, that's why financial stability is one of the main things that they're also looking for, because they're looking for life partners. They're not looking for hookups and stuff like that. That's not what they're there for, right? It's not what I'm there for either. So, like, I feel like I would be the right target audience for a lot of these people, except for the fact that I have no money. Oh, man. I mean, the thing about it is, honestly, Satsui no Tanden, it's just like, I brought it up on first dates a long time ago when video games weren't as accepted because I just didn't want to, like, I didn't want it to like, oh, this girl's really cool, and then she finds out I play video games, and then I wasted my time on this girl that I, you know, like, that I could just be like, You hate video games? All right, I don't have to deal with you right away, you know. Oh, man. There are good women in the FGC, new man, but that's always a dangerous thing, right? Because, I mean, I can't even tell you how much drama there's been in the FGC, when people within the FGC start dating and stuff like that. So, but also another thing is there's a lot of women in the FGC, but again, they're all very young, right? I mean, I met my ex, my last girlfriend, through the FGC, and she was 14 years younger than I am, right? Like she was literally 14 years younger than me, which is one of the reasons why it just didn't work out, because she was not in any position to want to settle down, or the way that, like, the places that she wanted to settle down were different and stuff like that. So it was just a very different, like, we were at two different stages in our lives, and so like it just wasn't gonna work out very, very well. So yeah, there are some OGs, but again, like, most of the OGs that are happily married right now, right? Most of the OG women in the FGC are happily married at this point. So, you know, so yeah, I'm telling you right now, man, like, dating sites are weird when it comes to being in the position that I'm in right now. So, how did we even get on this topic over here, dude? For sure it wasn't, wanting to sleep with fictional characters or anything like that. I don't remember. Oh no, someone said we were just talking about it, and then someone said get a sugar mama, and I just said on dating profiles you just can't put down I want a sugar mama, kind of thing. So, and I was like, if anybody out there knows one, let me know. Oh man. Anyways, let's talk about the next topic that I have over here. I was gonna respond directly to the tweet about it, but then I figured I would just talk about it on the show. And this came up, and yeah, my title here: "The Salt of Streaming. Take complaints with a grain of a grain of well, yeah, the cat is very affectionate, and he's also hungry. And when he's hungry, he gets very affectionate. And after I feed him, he becomes very affectionate. But he is affectionate in other situations as well. Like, we have like a little bit of a ritual when I go to sleep, and I will find him upstairs here, and then I will carry him downstairs, and then he cuddles with me in bed and stuff like that. So he's really, really cool. Oh yeah, a lot of the profiles that I see on dating sites are women with kids already, or women who don't want kids, which is hard for me. I know I'm super old, so I shouldn't be thinking about having kids. But like, I just want that possibility still, you know what I mean? And so it's hard. Being single at my age right now is a weird, weird place to be single. It's a very, very tough age to be single, honestly. So, where is the site that I have over here? Okay. So, what am I talking about here? Fighting game salt, the salt of streaming. Basically, well, okay, let's do this here. Hello, everybody. Welcome to It Was Tuesday. I'm James Chen. This is my co-host, Nathan the Cat. Can't see his face right there. We go. Nathan the Cat. He is an adorable little chunk. Oh my God, I can't help but do this. Oh my God. You are so cute. All right. But, today we're going to be talking a little bit about the salt of streaming here. Fighting game salt. And, and my title here, take complaints with a grain of, a grain of, basically, I just want to talk about the streaming environment. The streaming in my Nathan keeps muting my microphone. Nathan keeps muting my microphone. Nathan. Kitty, kitty, kitty. So, I just want to talk about, the era of fighting games that we're in, with how heavy social media is and how heavy streaming is and such. The reason why I bring this up is because, we have to understand how players feel. We've often talked about, like, if you meet a pro player at a tournament and you really want to take a picture with them or talk to them, please do not approach them after they just lost a match. Like, just don't do it, no matter how good your intention is or how much you come up and be like, oh, that sucked, I'm so mad that you lost, or whatever. Like, it's just never gonna be a good situation, because losing in a fighting game is a very, very salt-inducing situation. And I've often talked about, I don't even have to talk about it. People know how salty I get when I lose in fighting games, because I just like scream and rage, and then it looks like, my entire soul has, left my body and I'm just a former husk of a human being, kind of a thing. Fighting games are really tough, and because of the fact that there's no way that you can rely on teammates and stuff, people take it to heart a lot of the times. And one of the common things that I do whenever I lose fighting games is I just start making excuses right away. This game sucks, I hate this, my character sucks, or that character is cheap. That's like the first thing I go to, right? And I just start complaining about it. And the thing about it is, I've often said this many, 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 many times, but I feel like I share a very similar brain to Punk the God. And I know that's weird to say, but obviously, I've been on this earth for almost twice as long as he has now at this point and stuff. And so, I've obviously gone through a lot, because trust me, I used to be salty and I used to be angry. I used to cry about everything. I had just the worst temper. I still kind of do sometimes, but you've seen me how salty I get and stuff. But, one of the things is we have to understand how emotional players get. Punk just recently put out this tweet here that I'm going to put onto stream, and this is kind of what I wanted to talk about here. And before we even go into his tweet, let's actually go into this video here. So this is a video that gets clipped and showed a lot. People post this video a lot. And this is clearly right after Punk lost a match in a tournament, right? So.
They end me. Drive rushing and throw loops. It was just drive rushing and throw loops, bro, at the end. This game sucks, bro. It literally encourages bad play, man. It's not even the player's fault, bro. That's the bad thing. Until they fix how this game works, it's always gonna be like this, bro. It's just a bad game, dude. Fucking throw loops and drive rush together just makes the game so ass, bro. They gotta take one of them out.
As open, I thought tonight was really, really.
So yeah, I mean, look. Clearly he's salty here, right? And Punk finally quote tweets this and says, "Not sure why everybody wants to use this to cope with why they are bad at the game. Personally, I like Street Fighter 6, of course, but there's some dumb stuff that gets me salty. Just because I say something in a video after playing in tournament doesn't mean it's true or I believe it. 99% of the people on Twitter just parrot top players, but in reality, y'all can't win with throw loops, drive rush, V system anyway. It doesn't matter. So for 99% of you, stop trying to find something to help you cope with because you are ass." I think, where was there it is. Punk's autocorrect. Let's sum it up. Punk's autocorrect. I like Street Fighter 6. I know the game isn't perfect, but majority of y'all suck and are parrots. So stop making excuses because y'all are ass. Okay, so there you go. That's Punk's autocorrect. So, but you know, the reason why I want to bring this up and talk about this is because again, it's tough. We're living in this era where, social media and is rampant, and we are streaming ourselves constantly. So we're gonna end up doing a lot of things and saying a lot of things during times that we shouldn't. And this is a difficult topic to talk about because, again, nobody is wrong and nobody is right in this scenario. But this is just something that we have to understand to mature as a scene here, to really understand about how things are in the FGC, right? So the first thing to state is that, God, when somebody loses at a fighting game, like, just do not believe anything they say for like the first hour after they've lost, okay? We've seen Punk. He's tweeted a lot of salty things after immediately after he loses and stuff. This is a common pattern for him, right? And like I said, I do the same thing every time I lose. This is why I don't play in tournaments that I'm commentating, because every time I lose, I get on stream again and I'm just like making excuses and bitching and being bitter about everything, right? So I'd rather not play in a tournament at events that I commentate so I don't end up, causing that kind of, not end up doing that kind of stuff on stream. And again, that's why I say I know like I'm really similar to Punk in a lot of that way, because there is a lot of pride. Punk has a lot of pride. I have a lot of pride. And so whenever we lose on stream or something like that, it's just like you have to give the reason for it, right? Not just like, oh, I got outplayed or whatever like that. And so, Punk complaining about this game being random, this game being ass and all that stuff like that, we shouldn't take it seriously. It's not something that we should take to heart. But at the same time, it's tough because you're a streamer. You got to stream your tournament runs. That's what people want to watch, and they want to watch your personality. So at the same time, as a content creator yourself, you have to learn to not do this. You have to learn to not do this. And it's very hard because, again, nothing ever leaves the internet, right? Nothing ever leaves the internet. You are always going to be, like, anything that you do at this day and age is just going to be there forever. I mean, most people have probably noticed that I don't stream myself playing on ranked very much these days, and it's because I get salty, and I know I get salty, and I get really frustrated. There are a lot of Street Fighter 5 clips of me just like raging and stuff like that and getting upset because it just happens. And so, like, it's easy for me not to stream myself playing as often because that's not what I'm known for. I'm not a player and stuff like that. But for people like Punk or IDOM or, any one of these guys out there, who are streaming their runs and stuff like that, it's tough, man. Like, I don't envy them because, like I said, I've been in that position and I just get salty. But, one of the things that, as content creators, as someone who is, voluntarily streaming our lives and streaming ourselves constantly in these tournaments and stuff, we also have to learn to control those emotions a little bit, to not get so salty on there. But that's why when I read this, I totally get what Punk is saying. Right? Like, a lot of people will see, like, personally, I like Street Fighter 6. Of course, there's just some dumb stuff that gets me salty. Just because I say something in a video after playing in tournament doesn't mean it's true or I believe it. And a lot of people are going to read that sentence and really find it, like, dubious, right? They're just going to be like, okay, bro. But I read that and I was like, dude, I totally get it. I totally get it. I know exactly how that feels. I know exactly what you mean, etc., etc. So, like, I just saw that and I was like, yeah, Yeah, I get it. And it happens with me too, because a lot of times after I lose with something and I'm on stream and I'm just like, this is stupid, the character's broken and blah, blah, blah. And like in my head, I know I don't believe that, but I'm just like really pissed off, right? So, I have the fortunate ability to take myself out of these situations, but Punk does not. Punk has no ability to take him out of the situation because this is what his stream fans want to see. They want to see him play because they enjoy watching him winning. He's very good. It's fun to watch him kick ass in tournaments and root for him and stuff like that. So it's just like we're in this really, really weird situation. And a lot of people are going to ask, like, James, what is your point? What is your point that you're trying to make? I'm not even really sure. But, like, as soon as I saw that tweet, I wanted to reply to it or quote tweet it or talk about it on stream and stuff. And, like, really it just comes down to, like, I feel like we all need to be just more understanding on all sides, right? Especially with fighting game hate, okay? And maybe this is really kind of the biggest point here. Like, people will clip the hate and not care that, like, even if they know Punk doesn't mean it, they don't care. They'll clip it and use it because that way they can use it to prove a point and be a troll and laugh or whatever like that. So, like I said, as a streamer, you have to be careful about that, right? You really, really do have to be careful about that. But for everyone else who just like when you don't like a game, your life goal doesn't become to squash that game, right? Like, we have to take a lot of these, tirades like this with a grain of salt. I mean, someone brought up the fact that Sonic Fox said that, Marvel Tokon might be the worst fighting game they've ever played, like in recent modern memory, kind of thing like that. And I'm sure there's some truth to the way that Sonic Fox feels about Marvel Tokon, but like taking the word of these pros, like Punk said here, like Twitter just parrot top players and stuff like that. It's a bad thing to do because again, if you're just parroting what other people say, then it's like you don't have to justify your opinion. You can just say, oh, top player who's good at fighting games said this, so I don't have to explain it. The argument is that they said it, right? I mean, that's something that's very common these days. Give me 1 second. Hang on. Funnily enough, I got way less salty when I'm streaming because just the knowledge there's eyes on me flips an inhibitor so I don't say things that I would say if I was just talking to thin air. Yeah, there's multiple ways to react to it. But like I said, Punk has to play. He wins the majority of the time. And so I'll get to you, System. I'll get to you. He has to stream most of the time, and he's very emotional. And like I said, he's very prideful. He has a lot of pride, right? And it's not even necessarily pride like he thinks he's better than everybody else. It's just that, I feel like he has the kind of pride that when, he loses, like when people tell him he's washed up or you suck or whatever like that kind of gets to him a little bit, and I don't blame him for that at all because it's hard. Like, you don't know what it's like being in the, a position where everybody knows you, you know what I mean? Like, there are certain things that, like, I know I can't do or say or whatever because I'm just, like, scared of, like, it's just, like, there's so much stupid crap when you're kind of, like, a known person. And when people are hating on you a lot, like, things start to sting after a while and stuff like that. And so, a lot of times, like, when I would lose on streams, I would try to jump in front of everybody and just be like, this game sucks, or I hate this, and blah, 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 blah. And, that's just kind of what happens. And so, it's going to be different people reacting to different ways. So, yeah. Should Rikuo be on the thought of swimming in salt water? Maybe. I'll see. I mean, that's maybe something that my editor could look at, putting salt water. But then again, Rikuo is not well known enough to get people to click on the thumbnail. That's the problem. Like, if you want thumbnails that will get people to click on it, you have to show my Shiranui, and then me just going, and that's the thumbnail, and that will like Salt in fighting games. That's or me and a picture of Punk looking angry. Like that's the thumbnails, right? The problem with it is that the way that put a hot sugar mama on the thumbnail, yeah. The problem with it is that clever thumbnails don't work. Like trying to come up with clever things or references and all that stuff like that. That's how I used to make thumbnails, and they just don't work. Like I talk about like fighting game balance, and I show like a house of cards and stuff, and like nobody clicks. Nobody's like looking at that and say. But like if they see like fighting game Salt and me just like looking amused and an angry Punk, people are gonna be like, "Oh shit, what does he say about Punk?" You know, or something like that. You know what I mean? Like that's just how it works, man. Thumbnails are not like. The more clever you try to be with a thumbnail, the more chances nobody will click on it. Thumbnails have to be as direct and as assumption creating as possible, right? When you see a thumbnail, one, you need the content creator's face on it so you know it's their content. And then you need something else that makes you go, oh shit, I want to know what he says or she says about this. And so the picture has to create that in there. You know, Rico swimming in salt water is 100% something I would have done a long time ago. But like, because I have been like, oh, look, salt in fighting games, you know. But like, someone's going to look at it and be like, why is there a fish thing swimming in water? Whatever. And no one will click on it. It sucks. It sucks. But you are not allowed to be creative when it comes to YouTube thumbnails. And so when people get mad at all the thumbnails of people's faces going, ooh, and like, you know, some really dumb thing on the side, that's because it works. It's because it works. You can't. It's just how it is. Like I said, the more clever you try to be, the more unlikely people will click on it. And I hate it because I used to try to make super clever thumbnails and I just could never make it work. Oh man. But yeah, so like I said, we're in a weird situation because like I said, I don't think anyone's at fault, but I think all of us can do a little bit better, right? And you know, when we're sitting here and when we see people complain about games or get mad at games or yell at games and stuff like that, you know, this is not something. What happens is that people revel in it, right? If I hate Street Fighter 6 and I see Punk saying, man, this game is ass, it's just throw loops and drive rush, and that's all it is. Like, that to me is like the biggest win ever. Because you're just like, yes, clip, and you just show everyone. Because you're just like, yes, I have weapons. He agrees with me. Like, let's go. You know? So were you saying we should try to avoid it as players, streamers? Okay, yeah, let me get to that really quick. Also, I just want to make sure I understood your point on Salt. Were you saying we should try to avoid it as players and streamers? Not as players. Like, players, like, get salty. But if we're streaming, we have to be careful, right? Like, one of the things that is really... Right, Punk is just human, man. People forget that. It's a great sentence there. It's a great kind of like a great overarching thing that I really wanted to put out there. But when you're a streamer, like, you have to be wary that people out there are trying to take advantage of things that you say. if you're playing and you're not streaming, man, fucking get salty. Because like I said, I get salty all the goddamn time. Like when I'm playing off stream, like I don't stream my ranked runs. And when I'm playing them, like I get freaking salty, right? I'm just like, what the hell, dude? Like, why would you? Oh, like I get angry. So, but like, you know, if you're a streamer, you know, what you have to do is you have to find ways to refocus the salt. So one of the things that Punk the Human, that's great, Kenx. I love that. I love that. Yeah, a great way to tie a bow on this discussion as a saying. Yeah. Like inversely, Daigo has said that SF5 only made it to season 2 because he and other streamers talked it up because it wasn't good at launch. Pros on Twitch wield a lot of power. Yeah, that's definitely true. That's definitely true. Well, I mean, I don't know if it only made it to season 2 because of the streamers, but Street Fighter V certainly was not a great video game on launch, right? It was bare bones, and it really didn't feel like it was like the next level, right? There was nothing about it that felt like this was the next game in the Street Fighter storied series, right? It just was like, hey, look, we have V-Trigger. Okay, you know, kind of a thing, right? So, oh yeah, I mean, like if people liked it on launch, I'm not saying like you're foolish for thinking that way. It's fine, right? So the what I'm trying to say is that if you are a streamer, like for example, if I was to restream myself, if I was to start streaming myself on ranked again, my goal was to look for a VTuber. I want to create a VTuber rig. So I would be a VTuber specifically when I was playing, you know, ranked. And, you know, the VTuber stuff, you know, has that kind of like AI built into it or whatever, that it recognizes your facial expressions. If you get happy, it'll trigger the happy emotes for the VTuber rig, etc., etc. And if you get mad, you would actually, like, it would go into a mad face or whatever like that. So what I actually wanted to do was I wanted to rig a VTuber rig so that whenever I got mad and it detected my angry faces, that it would just put like the happiest looking James Chen out there. Like it would show James Chen with flowers, you know, and like rainbows and butterflies and just like, you know, just being so happy and like frolicking and stuff like that. Like while I'm like yelling, like just stupid, I can't believe he did that. And it would just like make the happiest looking James. Like, I think that would actually be funny, right? Like, turn it into something that is hilarious like that, right? Yeah, just be like, fuck this game, happiness, you know? Like, I think that would be great, right? And so, you know, if you are someone like Punk and stuff like that and you get salty, like, what would be, like, for another thing that would be really funny for those of us who grew up on TVs, you know, on TV stations and stuff. But, you know, there was always those, like, you know, sorry, there's an error at the broadcasting company. Please be patient while it plays some weird elevator music. Like, you could just be like, man, this game is so, I fucked this, and then just press a button, but you know, like all of a sudden just change it, like, we'll be, like, there is an error, we'll be right back, you know, kind of things like that. And I think that's kind of, you know, like, one of the things that you might want to try to do. So, like, one of the best people at that was Flo. Again, R.I.P. Flo. But when he played, like, I Want to Be the Guy, like, he was getting legit salty. But, like, the way that he played it and the way that he, like, turned it into the shtick was, like, genius, right? That's why it got so popular, because, you know, he played off the anger and it turned into a bit, and he made sure that while he was legit mad, he turned it into like humorous kind of stuff, right? Like, you know, he presented it in a way that it was fun to see him get mad, but unlike me, when I get mad, it definitely looks like I have like I said, I have just like lost all belief in myself and stuff, and it's just depressing. So, you know, like, like you have to be able to get mad in a way that's kind of entertaining, and Flo really did well with that. So I just think that that's really important. So, if you are a streamer and you do tend to get mad and salty, and you do tend to say things that, you don't mean, that you have to explain to people just because I say something in a video after playing a tournament doesn't mean it's true or I believe it. There is a facet where maybe you can kind of like do something goofy with it, right? Or like literally just give yourself a chance to like go off camera and just be like, like salty and like play it off kind of like humorously or something like that. Yeah, this episode has been presented in Relaxo Vision. I mean, I've wanted to do that too. I definitely wanted to do stuff like, God damn it, like get ready to rage and just hit a button on my Streamlabs and it just changes to like, like a video of just like cute cats running around, like in a field or something like that. I don't know. That kind of thing where I could just kind of like run off and scream to the side or something, and you could like hear it in the background. Like I'll run to another room and all you can hear is and then walk back and be like, hey guys, Freakazoid, yeah, for sure. So this ain't no party. Let me get to you first in a second. Let me just close out this little conversation over here. But yeah, it's an interesting time. But there is part of it that is just like, let's stop. It makes me mad because people using these kind of clips and stuff like that from Punk, help fuel the fighting game hate, and so. I do say to streamers and content creators that, this is something that we have to be careful of. Smug is another great one, right? Like every time he something happens, he does the camera switch and then he looks at the camera and then looks back or says something really funny. Like he learned quickly how to convert his actual genuine displeasure in fighting games to just the funniest thing in the world, right? And so that's something important that we got to learn to do. But at the same time, we also have to understand that streamers are human. Who was it that said that out there? Forrest said that. Yeah, Punk is just human. And we have to be a little, more forgiving for players and stuff like that, because it's a tough environment to live in. And, it is tough because for those who are streaming, we're the ones who put ourselves in this position. We're the ones making ourselves seen all the time. And so, it's hard to feel bad, be like, oh, Punk is human, boo-hoo. He's also making all this money off of Twitch. He has to deal with it. And I get that mentality, and I get it. But, again, we always do have to remember people are humans. And, I've talked to Punk a lot of times in person. He is a good kid, okay? He's legit a good kid. Whenever I have conversations with him, I know how much he loves fighting games. I know how much this means to him. And I know he knows how much this has really just been a blessing to his life. I mean, I talked to him before and I, say these things to him and stuff like that. And, you can see him get a little emotional at times and stuff like that. So, it's tough. But I do have a very strong soft spot for Punk, honestly. But that's because, like I said, I see a lot. To me, Punk is me if I was better at fighting games. Right? Because back when I was good, right? I legit was good, but I never got to that level. Punk is basically me if I had gotten to that level. If I was actually legit winning all the tournaments and stuff like that. So, I do understand where he comes from a lot of times. It's hard for me not to do that whole thing where I see the similarities with me, and so that just automatically creates this kind of soft spot for me and stuff. And he'll say things wrong, and I've messaged him before. I'm like, you should probably take that back, stuff like that. Like I do things like that. So, we have to remember that all these guys are streamers and they're humans. And this is in a way, like I said, they chose to do this to themselves, but at the same time they kind of didn't choose to do this because this is what they're good at. And if you're good at fighting games, this is kind of just the natural course that you have to go to make money. Because if you play fighting games, you're really good at fighting games, unless you're winning Capcom Cup, you're not making any money. So the only way to survive is through streaming, because it's the only way that you can actually, use your fighting game talent to actually earn money and make a living and stuff like that. So, while there is, you're the one choosing to do streams, it's your fault. You don't have to stream yourself and stuff. But they kind of have to in a lot of ways. You know what I mean? Because otherwise it's hard out there. I mean, people probably don't think about this, but like a lot of these top players are probably, struggling a lot of the time because there just really isn't a lot of money in this, right? You either win little bits of money or you win life-changing money, right? You either get to retire or you're struggling. And like the prize money isn't sufficient enough that you can live off of that, right? And that's the hard part about that. So Punk did win Evo, but we all know Evo doesn't necessarily pay the biggest output, right? So, Punk hasn't won like one of the big $1 million tournaments or EWC or anything like that. So, it's still a lot of work out there to do. And so, and again, I don't want to make this about Punk specifically, but a lot of the streamers out there, a lot of the players who are streaming their tournament runs and stuff like that, like, we need to give them a little bit more leeway for getting salty on stream after tournaments. And there's a lot of streamers who won't get salty, right? Because they're good at managing it. I'm not one of those people. But, we do just have to be a little more cognizant of it and try to be a little more, I guess you could say, forgiving in a way, and really just understand that this isn't an easy lifestyle for a lot of people. So, again, this is not just focused on Punk. This is everybody. A lot of us get salty. A lot of us get frustrated. And, when I saw Punk make this tweet, it's just the reason why I wanted to bring it up is just because I get it. I know how it feels. And I know how hard it is to be in this kind of position, and I guess maybe I just kind of wanted to, show my support to what he's saying and to really, kind of maybe try to talk about it a little bit more so more people can see it and also have similar sympathy or empathy and such. So, okay. So that's it for that conversation. This ain't no party. You still here in the chat? You said, "Hi James, I picked up COTW because I love SNK games. But the little quiz at the beginning put me at silver and I'm getting bodied left and right. I learned the systems, but it's miserable out there. Any tips?" Interesting. I'm always worried about this. One of the things that I've always wanted to do in fighting games was, if you have, if you have one of those ranking systems that puts you into a place in ranked, and then you play online and you find out you're getting destroyed all the time. I would love it if fighting games had a little bit of if they notice that you're not performing as well, there should just be an option that just asks, do you want to de-rank yourself? Do you want to drop down and rank, and you can just be like, sure. And, it only happens if you lose, a percentage. If you lose 80% of your games or whatever like that. But it's hard because you're probably stuck. You're probably stuck in silver right now. And can it drop you into bronze? Will it drop you into bronze? Or Are you stuck in silver now? And so now you're just kind of like at this point where you can't like win anything, and you're just like, what the hell, kind of situation. Because I don't know how the D-ranking system works in City of the Wolves. I don't know if it can drop you to lower ranks. But if you're stuck in silver, I mean, it's a tough situation at that point. Yes, because D rank is really slow. Interesting. Okay. God, this is a tough one, because this is, like I said, this is not a you issue. This is a game issue. This is literally the game. You did well enough to put you in a higher rank, but then it turns out you're not strong enough for those players, and the game doesn't have a way to de-rank you. The only thing that I can suggest right now, this ain't no party, and and this might actually work. This might actually work for you. But what you can do for now is, and this is a long-winded solution here, but like, create a new Steam account. Turn your new Steam account into a family, like create a family on Steam with your main account, and make your new Steam account part of the family with your main account, so that you can share City of the Wolves, and create a new online City of the Wolves account and go. Or, in City of the Wolves, like most fighting games, can't you just delete your account or something like that? And then like recreate it or something like that? I'm not sure. But yeah, actually, Mike Jones is playing, and, maybe you guys can team up or something like that to play against each other to help each other out a little bit. But that's like the best solution I can come up with, because that will cost you no money. It's just you got to create all these new accounts and create this family and stuff like that. So that might be the best way. And then when you play the placement matches, like intentionally like do poorly or something like that, right? Like just kind of play badly, and then make sure it ranks you lower so that you can actually play that way. I think that might be one of the best solutions that you have right now. So Arachnid Spider 2 says, I can't even log in City of the Wolves on PS5. What error are you getting, Spider? What error are you getting? Is it just like times out or something like that? Usually, and have you Googled it? Have you Googled your error message? Have you Googled what it is that your error message says? Because one of the shocking things is that usually when you get an error like that, a lot of people have the same error, and they'll like, and you'll find solutions on Google, shockingly enough, like look up Reddit posts and stuff like that. Those things help a lot. They help a lot. So, they couldn't figure it out either. Ugh, God, that's irritating. My Google foo is awful, so like I couldn't necessarily help you with that. Does Nathan know that I keep pointing the camera at him? Does he understand what this camera is? Because he keeps moving every time I put a camera on him like this, unless he falls asleep. Personally, if I'm going to D-rank, I'm going down swinging. I got calibrated a bit too high with Elena when I first tried her. So after calibration, I went on a 10-loss streak, and I do think I learned a thing or two from giving it my all. Right. But This Ain't No Party mentioned that the D-ranking in City of the Wolves seems to be really, really slow. So it's just taking a while for him to D-rank. So, and honestly, one of the hardest things about fighting games is like everybody plays differently, and playing somebody at your skill level is something that most people enjoy a lot more. You know what I mean? A lot of people want to play at their skill level. so it feels like they can have a little bit of fun. So not everybody out there is willing to take their lumps, you know, like that. So, you know, it's just a lot of it on different people thinking different and such. So, but yeah, as for Spider, I'm not sure. I wish I was good at Google and I could find a way. City of the Wolves can't log in 0x. Oh, sorry. 5. Screw it. I'm just trying whatever. Or similar, check your network connection, update your system time, or change your DNS settings. I'm getting some stuff over here, but I don't know. You might have looked through all these things. This is just AI answer as well. So I don't know. Nathan muted my stream again. I don't know if, you know, any of this will be useful here. Seriously, I'm turning to Reddit, blah, blah, blah. I use a wired Ethernet connection, but see, there's a trouble where sometimes after the match, it'll say unable to kick. No, that's a different issue. That's a completely different issue here. Let's see here. PS5. I cannot actually get into the beta on PS5. That's probably something different over here. Yeah, see, if you did all that stuff, check your connection status to ensure you do not have a strict NAT type or whatever, you know. Ugh, that's tough. Actually, oh wait, hang on a second. There's a video.
California
here.
needs a permanent
shut
fix
up.
to the
Oh no, this is something completely different. This is just for games in general. Do you have Twitter, Arachnid? Do you have Twitter at all? I ask mostly because if you have Twitter, can you tweet the problem and then tag me in it at the end? And what I can do is I can quote retweet. Oh, your Twitter got hacked? Crap. That sucks. Okay. I tell you what. Because honestly, like, once your Twitter gets hacked, there's really no point going back because Twitter sucks. Do you have Discord? Join my Discord. And then find my name in there, and then send me a direct message in Discord. Send me a DM and kind of explain your problems. And then what I can do is I can try to screen cap it and just be like, hey, one of my viewers from my stream, you know, had this problem. I'm curious if anybody knows how to fix this. And I'll just like screen cap it and try to tweet it out at some point in time. Also, if I don't do it right away, don't be like, I don't want to bother you, James Chen. Like, DM me again and just be like, any progress, any update? And I'll be like, oh shit, I forgot. Because I have really terrible ADHD, so I will forget to even do it. Not because I don't care, but because I just have ADHD. So if I don't do it right away and you bug me or whatever like that, just be like, hey, James, I haven't heard back. Has anyone replied? And then I can be like, fuck, I haven't written the tweet yet, and I'll get it out. You're not bothering me. It's not your fault. I'm more than happy to help. So let's just put it that way. So because honestly, like, I think, getting more people to play City of the Wolves is a good thing. It's a good thing. So let's see what we can do with that. So, okay, so I have one last topic here, but I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to choose to skip the topic here right now, but I do want to go ahead and plug. If you haven't watched Brian F's most recent Trash Talk with Mena RD, where he talks about a lot of stuff, please do so. Mena RD, she's such a, he's such an inspiring person. And I mean, the answers that he gives a lot of questions are really great. One of the things he talks about is that he talks about Street Fighter 6 being random to a point, that he still believes that in a lot of ways. And the TLDR of what I wanted to say is like everything that he says is like, oh, you can just get, like he was talking about Kosa sending him into loser's bracket at Evo Japan by drive rush overhead into like dead, basically, right? And I would just wanted to use this one to talk about, one, Brian F's channel. Make sure you check out his content. 2, Mena RD is awesome. And 3, I just wanted to use it once again to promote what I keep saying, that it's all the level 3's fault. It's all the level 3's fault. All of these mechanics are not broken if you can't do 50% damage off of these mechanics. Drive rush overhead, throw loops, raw drive rush, whatever. All of these things are not broken if the level 3s weren't so powerful and there's nothing else to do with the meter. If you actually had to consider using that meter for other very useful stuff and you didn't just get a level 3 at some point, everything that we complain about in this game would not be a problem. So I just wanted to use what Mena RD said as another boost on my platform to say that the problem right now is that the game, it's the level 3's problem. Because level 3 adds 2,000 damage, right? If you could do 3,000 damage off of a drive rush overhead, that's cool. But you've burnt yourself out, right? Most of the time that you get those stupid 5,000, 6,000 damage combos on there, you burn yourself out because you know you're going to land a level 3 and win, so you don't care, right? Well, if you can't kill them with a level 3, you're not going to burn yourself out, right? So even if you could do a 5,000 combo right now, you might not even do a 3,000 combo because then you'd be burnt out and you would die, right? So you would preserve your meter, so a lot of the times the combos that you do would just be like 2,000 damage. So now you get hit by a drive rush overhead, you take 2,000 to like 2,500 damage, and you're just like, okay, right? Because that allows you to get back to neutral and play a lot more Street Fighter. The problem right now is that I hit you with a drive rush overhead or I hit you with a shimmy, and I look at your meter and you're less than 50%. I've definitely routed my character's path to have a 5,000 damage combo, 5,000 plus damage combo with a level 3. I have 4 bars or more. I can drive rush cancel twice. Let's go. I win. And so everything is exacerbated by the fact that the level 3s do too much damage. They're too beneficial. And so that's what makes the game random, is that one wrong guess leads to instant death. And that, to me, is the biggest problem with the game. I really feel like if they could find a way to make it so that the level, so like I had a bunch of suggestions, right? Make an anti-throw mechanic that costs meter, that costs super meter. So that way people have to think about, they might not always have a level 3 available to them. Make it so that level 1s are stronger and way more useful, right? That's another way to do it. Like, what if we just took away invincibility on most level 3s, right? Nobody has a level 3 that's like some weird kind of like install super or something. I mean, I guess Kimberly is the closest one, right? But she's never doing it raw anyway. So, like, maybe just take away invincibility on all level 3s or something so that level 1s are more... No, because it doesn't matter, because no one's doing wake-up level 3s anyway. I wouldn't change anything. But my other idea was to make it that if you're burned out, then the minimum scaling of level 3s drops to 10%, right? So then instead of 4,000 damage, they do 400 damage? Yeah, 400 damage, right? Instead of 2,000 at minimum. So that way you can't just burn yourself out every time to get like this ridiculously damaging combo, right? Now, the problem with that is now you just make it so that like comboing into level 3s will never be exciting or hype because you're always just going to be better off doing fierce level 3 and that's it, right? Like it won't be as exciting. So like, I don't know, just find something that we could actually like change that. But anyways, Oh man. Perhaps an old-timey television can be your VTuber that changes channels based on your mood. Could be. But the thing about it is, JDP, a lot of it is also branding as well. It would be a lot more pertinent for me for my VTuber to look like me, because people know me, they've seen me at a lot of things, and to have my VTuber image actually be me is more beneficial to a commentator personality like me, basically. So, oh, there you go, too. This ain't no party. You got a lot of people here looking for sparring partners. So Alex Maximov here, willing to play a little bit. A bit of a pearl of Dota 2 wisdom is pub strats win games. They don't win tournaments, but they win games. So sometimes playing a diamond player can get you a match off of a pro. And like I said, Street Fighter 6 kind of lends to that because of the level 3 damage. It's just they're really strong. Maybe keep level 3s, but not allow them to be special canceled into from a special move or a normal anymore. Yeah, then they would be a lot like ultras. But then characters like Ken and Chun-Li would be like the best characters because they have easy combos that link into any level of super that they want, right? And I mean, to be honest, like making Ken and Chun-Li stronger, not really a bad thing because they could both use the help right now. Oh, Jadlin uses a V2 rig? That's cool. Okay, maybe if I need some help with that, I can talk to her. But yeah, like, it's not that it's actually random, Mike Jones. Well, right, we all agree, but we have no power to change to level 3. The game is not random, it's made with math. Yeah, the math is bad math. It's just really what it comes down to. Like, the fact of the matter is that if you play even decently and don't get slaughtered, you will build a level 3. Because there's no other way to spend that meter. So you're going to get one eventually. So it's like a one-time comeback mechanic, right? For like one round kind of a thing. And that's kind of like the issue with it, is that you're almost guaranteed to have one. And so what happens a lot of time is the last round, you know, in a game, both players are at like 50%, but both of them are scared to get hit one time. They're just scared to get hit one time. And so basically, you don't get a fighting game to play once you're up at, you know, once you both have a level 3 and they're both at like 50%. It's not about another 3 decisions, right? Like it's one thing. If I didn't block a drive rush overhead, I die. If they catch me with a crouching medium kick into drive rush cancel, I die. If they shimmy me one time, I die. If I try to check a drive rush and I fail, I die. And that's where I think the issue comes from, is that, you know, it's too easy to kill in those situations. It's way too easy to kill because level 3's minimum scale down to 2,000 damage. It's not random, it's math, but the thing about it is, it's just that, you know, whereas if there weren't any level 3s, one mistake isn't the end of the game, and that's not what Street Fighter should be. If it's Marvel versus Capcom, I mean, like, okay, yeah, that's just the way that the game plays. But like for this game, like, that's not what people are playing Street Fighter for, right? That's not why they play Street Fighter. They play Street Fighter because they want to be able to have more neutral, etc., etc. So yeah, that's just kind of how it all works, really. So I really do feel like the level 3s are the biggest culprit in Street Fighter 6, honestly. I feel like everything that people complain about, like I said, I would still nerf a few things. I'm not saying they're perfect as they are if you take away level 3s. But I'm just saying that level 3 is exacerbate every single one of those situations. Because again, knowing that you can kill so that you can burn out your entire drive gauge, even when the opponent is at 50%, is too powerful, right? It's so strong, because burning yourself out should be scary. And it's too convenient that way. So what can we do about it? If I can convince a lot of people that this is the case and more people start talking about it a little bit more, besides me, and you get a lot more top players talking about it, and then Daigo hears about it, and then Daigo's like, that's an interesting theory. Let's talk about this. And he kind of says like, yeah, I kind of agree with this statement. Like if it gets more traction and this is something that can be fixed, I think a little bit easier than like, how do we fix raw drive rush? You know what I mean? Like, because fixing raw drive rush requires a lot of thought, but like fixing level 3s, like just lowering the minimum scaling might just do it. You know what I mean? So like, it's just one of those things that we need to get more people talking about it and get more people kind of agreeing that that's where a lot of the problem comes from. So no. So what I'm trying to do, JDP, is I'm just gonna have someone like draw a caricature of me. I want someone to draw I'd probably get like, I don't know if I would do a ping tuber or if I would do a VTuber. Ping tubers are a little bit easier, and I think it would be funnier as a ping tuber than a VTuber. But like if I did a ping tuber, I would probably just get Irene Wavechan to draw me, because I think that would be hilarious. So right. I mean, to be honest with you, Mike Jones, yeah, that's true. Like, everybody has their pet theories and they want to be right more than they want to do what they would to solve the issue. Yeah, for sure, for sure. I mean, the difference for me is that I have my pet theories, but I am right. And people just think I'm crazy, that's all. So, that's just the thing, is they just have to realize that I'm a genius, that I understand fighting games like nobody else, and I'm never wrong on these things, and that what I say is absolutely truthful, and then people listen to me and all the fighting games end up being perfect. That's all that has to happen, really. I mean, let's face it, right? Oh, Yipes used the PingTuber setup for some time. Okay. I mean, I bet Irene drew that too. So yeah, I think that would actually work really well. Oh, man. No, but I mean, honestly, I really do think that that's, yeah, see, system, you don't even know how to spell the word, huh? You don't even know how to spell it. No, I'm just kidding. Whatever, it's all good. But yeah, so yeah, I'm just, it'll be interesting to if I could get more traction on that, honestly, which is why I wanted to do this segment here, because I wanted to, like I said, bounce off of, use Mena RD's statement from Brian F's video as a jumping off point. And again, also as a good excuse to promote Brian F's video and to promote listening to it, because again, Mena RD is honestly, like, it's like when you listen to him, it's so refreshing. It's really great. It's really, really great, honestly. So yeah. So in any case, yeah, that's all I've got for now today. I'm gonna go ahead and call it a night. Let's see if there's anybody I can raid. Let's see if I can find a good person to raid over here. Let's see here. Street Fighters. Nobody's doing. No, that's not actually what's going on right here. Street Fighter 6. Let's do from high to low. I mean, we'll see, Mike Jones. There are definitely some people I would prefer working with than others. So that's all I'm gonna say. Oh, cool! Riddles is streaming. Let's actually head over to Riddles then, shall we? Or is he almost done? Let's see. Nothing is happening on his stream right now. They're staring at each other. Well, no, Riddles is just staring at the chat. What is happening over here? Nothing is going on. He's not even... No one's saying anything. Oh, okay. He was waiting for 801 Strider to come back. Perfect. Okay, let's do this. Let's do this. All right, I'm going to send you guys to Riddle's stream. And Nathan recognizes my closing speeches here, so... Yeah, listen to him getting meowy, right? He hasn't been meowing at all the whole entire day, but he recognizes that I'm about to end the stream. So, like, how does he know? I don't understand. This guy understands English. It's like the craziest thing. It's so weird. But in any case, let's go ahead and raid Riddles. So, long combos are useless in that game. No, System, you're right. And I was talking about that earlier in the stream, actually. I was talking about damage, move staling, which is using less, like, the more you use a certain move, like, it starts to scale harder and stuff like that.
Chat,
but
how many viewers are there in Smash Ultimate?
in any
right now?
case, thank you guys
Give me
for
the exact
tuning
number.
in. And, oops, Riddles is talking.
No, I'm just curious.
And thank you guys for tuning in and hanging out here. But also, I want to remind everybody that the day that this podcast graced your ears was the most important day of your life. Yes, yeah, you agree. But for me,
It was Tuesday.